Raiders welcome the Niners to Allegiant Stadium for Antonio Pierce before we get it going for real. Hey folks, how are you? Jason Horowitz, 2002 NFL MVP Rich Gannon, four-time Super Bowl champ Matt Millen. Happy to have you with us here in the broadcast booth. As you heard right there, the storyline that's been there all preseason, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. It is Gardner's job in week one. Neither will play tonight. But the other storyline, Matt, the defense was so good last year and expected to be the anchor again this year.
And they're going to have to be, but there's some things they have to clean up. I think you play your best defense when you make it simplistic, right? So what they need to really be doing is getting back to the basics. Because I don't see them being being physical, and I think that's a place that they have to start and be better at.
And I think it starts inside with the addition of Christian Wilkins. That's going to help Max Crosby off the edge. To play great defense, Matt, you know that you need great pass rushers and covering corners. I think the Raiders have both.
Yeah, certainly. Jack Jones, a major addition last year. Now, none of those guys will play tonight. 37 Raiders not in uniform tonight, so we'll see a lot of those guys fighting for roster spots. More on that coming up in just a little bit as the Niners will play their starters. But to get things going tonight, let's kick it over to the PA announcer. Here's Tim Hughes.
Here to present our nation's colors is the U.S. Honor Guard. And now to perform the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome back singer-songwriter Pia Toscano.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Pia Toscano. Fans, please direct your attention to the peristyle end. Al Davis and the Oakland Raiders selected this linebacker in the 1965 draft after an All-American career at Missouri. Number 34 made an immediate impact in the American Football League in his inaugural season, intercepting 3 passes with 2 returned for touchdowns on the way to making the All-Rookie team. He wore the silver and black for 8 glorious seasons, appearing in 102 games, starting 95, and was an AFL All-Star in 1969. This dynamic linebacker was a member of the 11 Angry Men, Oakland's characteristically stubborn 1967 AFL Championship defense, coached by John Madden, and was a starter for the Raiders in Super Bowl II. He is here tonight to light the torch in honor of and in tribute to Al Davis, who declared that the fire that burns the brightest in his organization is the will to win. Ladies and gentlemen, number 34, Gus Otto.
Well, this week, Gus Otto gets the honor. Last week, it was the family of the late Jim Otto, Mr. Raider. But all that fits into what this weekend has really been about. And you guys have both experienced a long time. The alumni so important to this organization. And it is around the NFL, but nobody does it like the Raiders do.
You know, I spoke to so many players last night. A lot of those players who played for other organizations. Matt and I had the benefit of playing for other organizations before coming to the Raiders. And I would simply say this. I mean, this organization, no one does it like this. You think about Mark Davis and bringing in all these players. I think 250 players, Matt, made it in this weekend.
Yeah, there was a bunch of guys showed up, and it's so good to see everybody again and start bringing the stories back, and the lies are even bigger this year than they were a year ago.
Look at that turnout. It's incredible.
It's phenomenal, and I think Mark does a phenomenal job. And look, you said it, we've both been around different organizations. They all want to try to do the same thing that the Raiders are doing.
Yeah, and they're all wearing the alumni shirts with Jim Otto's 00 numbers on the back. They had the bowling shirts last night.
They're all in the end zone. They have the entire suite there in the end zone. So what a great thing that the Raiders are doing.
Haynes.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mike down there. Yep.
Yeah, the stories told. I mean, that's the other part of this. A wellness weekend this summer. You just said, Matt, everyone wants to do it the way the Raiders do. Mark Davis brought in alumni from all over the place this summer for a wellness weekend and let them know all about mental health, physical health, all of those things.
Once a Raider, always a Raider. No one does it quite like the Raiders.
And that'll certainly be a major part of tonight as well. Expect Tim Brown to join us, and Howie Long and Tom Telesco will join us a little bit later. Certainly a long and storied franchise history. And a lot of those guys back this weekend. All right, as to the game at hand, Niners won the toss. They want to receive. Unlike the Raiders tonight, San Francisco is set to put a lot of their starters on the field tonight. So that will be a little bit different. They didn't like how it looked last week against the Saints. Brock Purdy with not the starters on the field. So the guys that are healthy for them, they're dealing certainly with some Brandon Ayuk situation, Trent Williams. But most of their starters are going to go. How long, we don't know. Raiders a different story tonight, but it's an opportunity for these guys to make their mark.
Well, it's an opportunity for some players to make the team. I mean, I think that's what's at stake. You look at that cut down going from 90 to 53, and 37 players will be out of work. Some of those players will get re-signed to the practice squad, but a lot at stake for a lot of these young players tonight, Matt.
And Rich, here's the piece that others forget. It may not be here.
That's right.
It could be someplace else because the whole league is watching everything.
Antonio Pierce has made that abundantly clear to every player he has talked to. Carlson's kickoff underway. The rookie Isaac Guerrero under it, coming out to the 5 in the new dynamic kickoff. He takes it out past the 30, and that is where the Niners will take over. Sam Webb has made a bunch of special teams tackles here in the preseason, and he made another after a 28-yard return. So Brock Purdy in his third year out of Iowa State, coming off the final game last year, which was played right here in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Chiefs. Again, the offense, Christian McCaffrey's dealing with a calf injury. Brandon Ayuk's dealing with a contract. Trent Williams dealing with a contract. So a lot here for San Francisco that's kind of unknown.
It's a different team when Trent Williams doesn't play left tackle, I can promise you that. And Brandon Ayuk, one of the toughest receivers in the NFL. Those are two players they need to get back on the field.
Purdy's going to throw.
Double move.
Deebo Samuel, the intended receiver, and he came down with it with 2 feet. He was working on the rookie, M.J. Devonshire, and made a grab to the Raiders' 41 for 27 yards.
And Devonshire was in pretty good position. It was just kind of almost an underthrown ball to the backside. See, Devonshire's going to never get beat to the top, so he's not going to do that. Stay on his hip. Yeah, see, that's just good. Nicely thrown ball. You can't beat it.
And just try to find the ball a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Rich Kittle over the middle. Kenai Mauga and Jaden Grant combine on the tackle. But the 8th-year Pro Bowl tight end out of Iowa is going to pick up a 15 more.
And he sees things so fast. He read that so beautifully. It was just, you can see, it was a zone. They just dispersed the zone. He just hit the hole in the middle.
The Kittle always does a nice job finding the hole in the middle of that defense. And that's been so good after the catch as well.
Cross play, great play. Janoris Robinson got up the field and dropped Jordan Mason for a loss of 5.
Yeah, that's the way. That's what you've got to be able to do. You got to create stuff in the backfield. Robinson does a really nice job. All he's going to do is just come up really strong. Take off that inside. Heck, unblocked, pretty much. Although I guess there was a Maybe a running back there.
We've been talking about the first 2 preseason games against the Vikings and the Cowboys. The run defense, Matt, has to get better.
Yep.
They have to get off blocks.
Raiders gave up over 110 rushing yards in the first half. Each of the first 2 that came with a blitz. Purdy got out of there, dumps it to the sideline, and it is caught. Jordan Mason kept both feet in bounds. Cornell Armstrong had a pressure, but a great grab by the running back.
You get a free blitzer right off the edge. There's Cornell Armstrong, and quarterbacks breaks contain, gets out on the edge.
I don't know. I don't know if he caught this thing.
And Antonio Pierce is challenging it. Not only did it hit the ground, his feet weren't in bounds
not
either.
Even close.
Yeah,
not even close.
So Antonio Pierce is throwing the challenge flag. He'll have that flag in that conversation with Bill Vinovich.
Las Vegas is challenging you ruling on the field of a completed catch at the sideline.
Well, Bill Vinovich has been around this league for a while. One of those guys that you just know his game. Watch, you're going to see A, he only had maybe 1 foot, but B, you can see right there, he dropped that ball. There's no catch.
I always love, Matt, how the offensive players, even though they know they didn't really catch it, still act like they did.
Well, you have to. Yeah. Every now, you never know when it's going to happen.
Of course you love that.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Rich, you didn't have instant replay by most of your career.
Yeah, no, it's now they don't miss a lot, that's for sure.
Well, you go back to that play before that, though, by Janaris Robinson. You know, one of the spots, if there are spots to be won here in the last preseason game, a couple of spots on the defensive line.
Yeah, he came on a stunt on the inside and beat the guy pretty well. So that's actually a good play call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Now,
And remember this year,
since Las Vegas won the challenge, they still have 2 remaining.
that is what I was just about to say. Thank you, Mr. Vinovich. Unlike years past where you had to win both to get a third, this year if coaches win either of their first 2 challenges, they get a third. So after the incomplete pass, it is now 3rd down and 15, and you'd love to see these guys get a stop here. Right, your backups playing their starters. You'd love to see them make another big play.
Well, the conversion rate on 3rd and 15 in the NFL is around 13%. So Raiders can't let them convert here.
No, they're just sitting in the zone. Looks like it's he's underneath.
And he threw it behind Kittle.
And it looked like a tip. May have gotten a tip right there.
And I think Charles Snowden got his hands on it. Another one of those guys, long, 6'7", 255-pound frame.
Yeah, watch it off the top again. Snowden's going to get his hands up right there. Good for him.
Good pressure on Colton McKivitz, starting right tackle. So a 49-yard field goal attempt for the 2nd-year pro out of Michigan, Jake Moody. Hunter Wisnowski to hold. It's put down, it is up, and the Niners are on the board. So a couple of big pass plays early against Antonio Pierce's defense, but some nice job by the defensive line to hold them to 3.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Karma Automotive, official luxury EV vehicle of the Las Vegas Raiders. Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. The mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Knock V Injury Law, the official law firm of the Raiders. And by Travel Nevada, 100 yards or 60 million acres. Find the space to be. TravelNevada.com.
And so many of the Raiders have traveled to Nevada to come for alumni weekend. Myers Marcus Allen right next to Eric Dickerson, the 1 year with the Raiders. But that's the whole thing, right? Once a Raider, always a Raider, and they live by that motto.
Yeah, absolutely. They got a bunch of good guys down here, some great players. just seems funny. They're just like your old teammates, except they're older.
Hit the ground. Tyreek McAllister off the bounce, trying to get through the hole. And he takes it out to the 31-yard line. McAllister was a great return man in the CFL last year. So Nathan Peterman coming out to get the start tonight. 7th year out of Pittsburgh, spent 4 years with the Raiders. Much of that on the practice squad, but he is a veteran of this league. And, you know, we've spent so much time, Rich, for quarterback 1 versus 2, but the reality is that teams get to keep a third if they want or have one on the practice squad, so this is big for him.
Great opportunity for Nathan Peterman in his second stint with the Raiders. Started with the Buffalo Bills in 2017. He's been around the league, Jason. He's got some experience. Played in Chicago the last 2 years with Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator. He's played in 15 games with just 5 starts. But he's got some talent. He can throw the football. He knows this offense, and they're going to take a good, hard, long look at him tonight.
And he's been with this team for a couple of weeks now. We did not see him last week against the Cowboys. Carter Bradley, who we expect to see a lot tonight as well, got the whole 4th quarter. They bring a blitz. He throws it out. He's got Zach Gentry, one of the tight ends, trying to make the roster 2. And he's brought down by Devondre Campbell, the linebacker signing from Green Bay, but a pickup for Gentry out to the 39 of 8 yards.
This is good work for this offense and for Nate Peterman, because you're going to go up against a lot of the starters for the 49ers. Great work for the offensive line as well, Matt. Those big guys getting a chance to handle what I think is a pretty good pass rush.
It's a really good pass rush. When they're humming too, when they're on, they're on.
3rd down and 2 for Peterman. Pressure up the middle, and trying to drag Leonard Floyd, and he can't. Leonard Floyd, signed from Buffalo after 10.5 sacks last year, was in there along with Yetur Gross-Matos.
He caught him on the rebound, got up the field, was blocked, good position, and then the quarterback had to run. That was pretty much a coverage sack right there.
So A.J. Cole on to punt. He has averaged more than 52 yards per kick here in the preseason.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
That's a 52-yard boot. And they will pin him down there. Amari Gaynor, who's done some nice things on defense, stopped the Niners after a 7-yard return. We'll see the Raiders defense back on the field next. Intermountain Health understands that life can be a challenging game, and mental wellness is vital to our overall health. It takes courage to admit when we're not okay, and even more to reach out. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, call or text 988 or visit strongestplay.com for mental wellness resources. Here inside Allegiant Stadium, Niners leading the Raiders 3-0. Niners continue to have their starting offense out on the field, and Raiders getting a good look, man. And you were a GM in this league for nearly a decade with Detroit, so you understand how big this last game is for all these guys.
Yeah, and you got to create your own opportunity, so it's not going to really be handed to you, right? So what you've got to be able to do, if you're on the roster, if you want to be on the roster, you got to perform, play in and play out. Not like that.
Yeah, trying to get some of those running plays cut down to 3 or 4 yards. That's 11 for Jordan Mason.
Yeah, this is what I watched on tape again, and you're not getting off blocks. You're not physical enough up front. You should be knocking guys back instead of going sideways, right? And so here's first missed tackle, head on the wrong side. You got to get in on it. Eventually bring them down.
Pad level. They need to be lower up front.
Yep. That's always a problem every season. For about the first 4 or 5 games. No pass rush right here.
Purdy wrapped up by Matthew Butler. That's a big takedown for the 2022 5th-round pick out of Tennessee. Well, you had Janaris Robinson coming off the edge, and Purdy went right into the waiting arms of Butler.
Yeah, and the reason why he went to his arms is because the coverage on the backside. There's no place to go with the football. He needs to hit it here. He has this guy underneath, coverage on the top side, and that allows the sack to be able to happen.
That is the first sack for the Raiders in the preseason. Butler last year, guy that did not make it on the initial 53, was on the practice squad, but they have credited his effort all preseason. dumped down over the middle. Jake Tongas, the backup tight end. Amari Gaynor, who's been all over the field this preseason, made the stop there.
Well, you think about this final audition for some of these players, and Matt, we're talking about it. What's at stake? We're going to go from 90 to 53 in the next 48 hours. And you look at some of these players, Richardson, Gaynor, Butler. You know, some teams, I think right now, Matt, know who the top 50 are. They're probably trying to decide on the final three. And I think some teams, maybe like the Raiders, are maybe 47, 48, trying to figure out those last 5 or 6 players.
Absolutely right. And that's why I said you have to create your own opportunities right now as a player.
Raiders come with just 4. They got pressure again. Oh, Kittle made a great grab. He was right between Mauga and Jaden Grant, and somehow the ball found his hands.
I thought Mauga was going to have a pick right there.
Wow, this should never happen.
Get your depth.
Yeah, I mean, this
right
is
there.
That's unbelievable to fit that in, the Kittle right between the linebacker and the safety. Man.
Yep, that's really well done.
And on the front end, Charles Snowden was an inch away from a sack. Pressure off the edge, dumped down to Kittle. One-on-one, and a nice open field tackle. Kanai Mauga made the stop for no gain.
I like Mauga.
Yeah, good job getting pressure up the field off the edge. And then, nice job on the back end.
That's nice by Mauga to keep his eyes where they're supposed to be, right? A lot of times your eyes are going with the flow, and instead he was able to see with good vision and protect that backside. Makes a nice tackle.
Good work. Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the game.
Yep.
Kittle last year, his 5th Pro Bowl in the last 6 seasons. Had 11 touchdowns 2 years ago. Of course, he and Deebo Samuel were part of the Netflix series Receiver with Devontae Adams. On 2nd and 10, big hole for Mason again, and he spins forward for a pickup of 12 and another first down on the ground.
They split a stunt on the top side. End went down inside, and the back came over the top, and he got blocked. You're gonna watch it up top. Watch right over here. Go ahead. So he comes to the inside. So that backer has to get over the top. He can't get stuck inside, which he did, and that creates the hole.
The run defense has got to get cleaned up. I understand these aren't the starters, but I think the one storyline through the preseason, even with the starters out there against the Vikings and the Cowboys, the run defense hasn't been up to the standard.
Now, that was certainly a complaint after last week's game. Nice cutback by Mason. Mauga and Gaynor made the tackle from behind, but not before Mason picks up 8 more yards. And, you know, Christian McCaffrey obviously gets all the conversation for the Niners running backs, and he's the NFL Offensive Player of the Year last year, but Jordan Mason averaged over 5 yards a carry when he did get on the field.
It's a good offensive line. They do a good job in their zone scheme. They do a good job getting up on the second level, getting some hats on those linebackers. And the backs are patient. You know, they're very patient. They see those cutback lanes, and they take advantage of them.
Purdy back to the air. Raiders have had some nice pressure. Purdy takes off, though, and he's got another pickup. They saw that a lot last week with Trey Lance. He's inside the 20, 13 yards for number 13.
So coverage is fine, right? Things start to break down. Now you have to match. On the back end, you convert. And so now here, see, they did all that. They matched it up right. You have to account for the quarterback's feet, and sometimes that just doesn't happen.
Not all good quarterbacks are first-round picks. I'll just say that.
Yeah, how about
this kid from Iowa State, he's come in. Didn't think he was even going to make the team his first year, and winds up filling in for Jimmy Garoppolo, and the rest is history.
Dorendo the carry, Gaynor the tackle. And Rich, you lived that life, right? I mean, Brock Purdy was not an FCS quarterback out of Delaware, but he was an Iowa State guy. He's had a lot of college records, but we all know the story at this point. The Mr. Irrelevant last pick in the draft.
You know, I think he played a lot of football at Iowa State. I think he had 49 starts, and I think that was attractive to the 49ers. I think that his feet, he's never going to overpower you with his arm talent, but he's a rhythm guy. He fits this system so well, and he's very coachable.
Dorendo again cuts into the hole. A strong, powerful rookie out of Louisville's got the first down inside the 6. They pushed him back. They'll mark him after the 6-yard gain. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Niners inside of 5 minutes in the first quarter.
One of the things that I like about Purdy, nothing bothers him.
Yeah.
He doesn't let things bother him. He gets on top. That's really well blocked, by the way. You're down past the second level. You'd like to get that tackle in the backfield, what's missed. Now you're into second level and you got a problem.
So the 11th play of the drive for the Niners, one that started on their own 15-yard line. Purdy back to the air, dumps it down, and a nice tackle. Chris Smith, the second-year safety out of Georgia. He made a lot of big plays in his college career, and maybe he'll get that opportunity this year in the pros.
Good eye discipline right there. He's just going to take this. He try to do the fake to the inside and just sneak the quarterback out the back end. Did a nice job of keeping his eyes on his coverage.
Really disciplined with their assignments. The 49ers use a lot of misdirection. Plays that look the same but are different. Really nice job there. Not getting fooled and being disciplined with your eyes by Chris Smith.
On 2nd and goal, Mason back on the field. He's turning the legs, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown Niners on a 4-yard carry for Jordan Mason.
That's just better push on the offensive side than the defensive side. Defense is all about controlling the people in front of you. You got to get into them, gain control. If you don't gain control, this is what happens. They put you on skates and you start moving. You're going to watch this right here. Get into them, control it. They're going backwards. They're not in control. Hence, touchdown.
Yeah, the white jerseys won that battle at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Remember, it was an offense last year for San Francisco, and Coach Shanahan, that was 3rd in the NFL at nearly 29 yards a game. Moody's extra point is up and good. So drives consecutively have resulted in points for the Niners. See what the Raiders offense can do on the other side here in the first. Create a memorable experience for your top clients or enjoy an upscale experience in a suite at Allegiant Stadium. Individual rentals are now available for all events. Benefits range from lavish food and beverage options, VIP entrances, access to the 100 and 200 level clubs. Securing your suite now by visiting suites.raiders.com for all the details. Great food options inside this beautiful stadium. One of the newest in the league, certainly a premier venue. You get a great halftime show here every single week. You never know what's going to be on display. And the other part to all that too, Rich, is that Antonio Pierce wants to make this one of the better home field advantages in the NFL, and he's hoping the product on the field can make that happen.
Well, I think winning goes a long way to address the issue. I think it's, as he says, it's Las Vegas. We've got to put on the show every time out. A lot of it is attitude. You know, it's about, you know, how we go about our business each and every week. And you know, I know AP's trying to change the culture here, and it starts with, I think, being a more physical, more disciplined football team.
Kickoff to McAllister. We got ahead of steam, trying to make something happen. And it looks like a lot of the kickoffs we've seen in the preseason, not back to the 30-yard line, as we bring out the offense again. And, you know, some of the players to watch here in this final preseason game, DJ Glaze, the 3rd-round pick out of Maryland. Look, he's going to be on the roster, but he is the one offensive lineman playing tonight who has been playing with some of the starters.
Yeah, 3-year starter at Maryland. I love the fact that he played both the right tackle and the left tackle position. He's got great length and athleticism for the position. He played some guard during the week at the Senior Bowl, so the guy has some position versatility. I think that's important as well.
Run play to Dylan Laube, finally trying to get going. We have not really seen his explosive ability just yet here in the preseason, but that run went for 8 yards.
Yeah, just right behind Glaze.
Yeah, watch DJ Glaze. I mean,
really
does a nice job coming off the ball right at the point of attack. Look at this block right there.
Made contact. Now, here's the nice thing, right? So he got that inside, and you see how he kicked his right hip, or left hip rather. You pull on the inside and push on the top side. Really well done. They don't call that anymore, by the way, any kind of holding.
You were never held, were you?
No, never held.
I just remember you yelling at officials saying he's grabbing me.
Yeah.
You did that a couple times every game, didn't you?
Of course. That was even before the game.
Yeah, but the worst part was when he was doing that as a broadcaster and as a general manager.
That's a good point.
Now, he highlighted Christian Wilkerson, too. Remember, he had 10 grabs in the final preseason game last year at Dallas and then made the roster. It's back to Laube. He squirted his way through there and picked up a first down.
Yeah, second effort by Laube did that. He got stopped in his tracks in backfield and then shifted over.
I'd really like to see Laube get some touches tonight. Not the biggest guy, but he's a tough guy. All-purpose player, did it all in college at New Hampshire.
He's got better speed than you think. He's catches the ball pretty well. Good returner. There's a lot of pluses to him.
He had 7 carries for 16 yards the first 2 preseason games. Peterman trying to get out of there. He's being chased from behind, and he does get to the sideline, but he definitely got hit inbounds. He got a shove while his feet were still in bounds. He did pick up 3 yards, though, with his feet.
The one thing you can't do as a quarterback is ease up on the boundary, because that's where you get knocked out. When you get towards the boundary, there's got to be a sense of urgency to get out of bounds and avoid that hit. These defensive backs, Lenore, he comes in there. They're looking to take you out, Matt, on the boundary.
Nah,
if they can't take you out, they can take a coach out.
All they're trying to do is pay their respects, to give you a healthy welcoming.
Now, this is the one thing every team wants to avoid at any point in the preseason. Niners have an injury. We will step aside.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at ultra-exclusive areas you can't see on game day with an Allegiant Stadium tour. Don't miss the unique opportunity to experience the home of the Raiders like never before. For tickets and info, visit AllegiantStadium.com/tour. That injured Niners player was Leonard Floyd. We'll get to that in a second. 2nd and 7. The swing out to Laube. Got away from the tackler. He showed the moves, and he picked up an extra 5. He didn't lose the football, though. And the Niners say they're on top of it. And they do have the football on the far sideline. That was Devondre Campbell who made the hit.
Came across and swiped it. Ball's out right there. Let's see if it gets out of bounds before anybody gets it.
You can't tell from that.
Yeah, you can't. There's no control there.
Like Beal came up with it at the end.
Was he in bounds?
Well, remember, every turnover is reviewed.
It's out, and Beal and Bachman are going for it. At the end of when it's all said and done, Beal somehow finds a way to rip it away. The question is, Matt, as you said, is it out of there's the scrum is right on the
and it's any part. If you're touching any part of your body's out, you're out.
Which would go back to the Raiders for their football.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it's going to be checked. So
back to Leonard Floyd, though, this is going to be what looks like Niners football. Guys, Leonard Floyd, the Niners were supposed to play the Saints with practice leading up to their preseason game last week. Kyle Shanahan called it off because they were banged up. They had injuries all across the defense. So they are already hurting heading in this year. And Leonard Floyd's one of the veterans they brought in to help on that defensive line. So he is in the tent right now for San Francisco. The starter's still on the field, and Jordan Mason slipped in the backfield. Credit next to Jade Silvera with the tackle. He got ahead for 2.
The other thing to keep in mind is there's a big gap between tonight and the first regular season game. Yeah. There's a lot of time. And so I think some coaches like Kyle Shanahan, for example, feels like, I'm going to play these starters a little bit now because there's a lot of time to rest and recover. And this is our final tune-up before week 1.
Purdy is 6 of 8. He's back to the air. A sidearm throw is on target. And Conley takes it into Raiders territory. He's out of bounds at the 32-yard line. And they pick up 18 more.
Well, they just run so many boots and nakeds with Brock Purdy. And we talked about plays that look the same, that are different. That little stretch play, you see it. You got to be disciplined on the back to make sure that you get upfield, that you set the edge, that you make it difficult on the quarterback. And I think Smith could have taken a better angle against Purdy.
Back to the ground. This time it's Deebo Samuel. The quick throw. So inside of 30 seconds here. The Niners do not have to snap it again. See if they choose to.
This is what the Raiders need out of Gardner Minshew. You know, to be able to play like Brock Purdy. They have the same, you know, he's 6'1", Gardner's 6'1", Purdy's 6'1". They're similar when you look at their size and their athleticism. You know, I think Gardner has the ability to get out on the edge as well and do some of these boots and nakeds and change the launch point for shorter quarterbacks. You see a lot of that with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, final play of the first quarter is another chunk gain on the ground for the Niners. 7 more for Jordan Mason, who had 40 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. Come to the end of the first quarter. San Francisco leading Las Vegas 10-0. And you're watching Raiders football presented by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Visit CreditOneBankTravel.com.
All right, come on. Unload on that car. So, man, I like that contact. They talking crazy.
Can I get a shout out to my mama?
Come on.
Yeah, me too. Hey, mama. Hey, mama. I don't know where the camera at, but hey, mama.
Shout out to my right here. So look.
I love you, mama.
Shout out to my mama. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my son, man. Yes, sir. Love y'all.
Mic'd up with Nate Hobbs and his friends. Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, Nate, one of the 37 Raiders not playing tonight. None of the expected starters on defense and a whole bunch of the backups too not in there tonight. The guys that are trying to make this team is Max Crosby and others watching on. Saw the Niners and their starters gain 152 yards in the first quarter. Mason had 40, nice tackle. Jaden Grant came up from the safety spot to bring him down.
And he came on a blitz on the outside, forced him to stay back inside instead of bouncing it. Had he bounced that, he'd still be running. Did a nice job here. Watch, you can't see it on the top side, but he came in hard, forced it back inside. Raiders are using a couple of stunts on the inside that create holes, and the second level has to be, which the linebackers, you have to be able to handle that.
They don't want to blitz. They back out, bring just 4. Purdy, pressure, skates, dumps it short. It's caught by Mason. And again, a lot of yards after the grab. He picks up 8. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
I think this is all Brock Purdy. I just think he's patient back there, like you said, Rich. And he does a nice job with his feet to be able to find the space to be able to make the throw. Watch this right here. He knows where he has to go. He's still looking his eyes downfield. And he just gets out, squirts out to the left, and is able to make a completion. That's just good football.
Good escapability, Matt, at the same time keeping his eyes downfield and the ball in the throwing position.
I'm going to get a false start here on San Francisco.
False start. Offense number 9. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Braden Willis, one of the backup tight ends for Kyle Shanahan.
That's what happens. You make a mistake, you have a penalty, and they take you out of the game.
I watched
Teach you a lesson.
I watched that in high school games the other day. Every penalty, get out of here.
Get him out.
Right. Looks like they're in man.
Purdy on the slant.
Oh, great
nice coverage, and it's picked off. Off of the deflection. It's Chris Smith. He returned a pick in a national championship game, and he's got one here for the Raiders in the second quarter.
Good coverage.
Yeah, that was tight coverage on the deflection for the safety to grab it out of the air. And a 31-yard return the other way. Sam Webb with the tight coverage. Chris Smith in the right place and the great play. Now the Raiders offense takes over. Now Chris Smith made the interception. He's 29. You can't see him right there. Sam Webb, 27, made the nice play. Both those guys combining on what is the second takeaway for the Raiders defense in the preseason.
Yeah, does a great job. They play man coverage, and just watch him get his hand in there, that right hand. That's what gets the ball up in the air, and Webb is right there to make the play, but great job by him.
You know, Sam Webb was in a situation a couple of years ago. He was undrafted free agent out of Missouri Western. He made the initial 53 roster 2 years ago and played 17 games for the Raiders. And again, we talked coming into this game, maybe cornerback depth is the spot they're looking to try and keep a guy coming out of tonight.
No question. And, you know, just, I think more plays like that, you know, when you really get a good chance to, I think, evaluate that position when they play man-to-man coverage.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see them play the run. You also want to see them get in and out of breaks and compete.
Peterman's 2 for 2. He's now 3 for 3. Bachman is dragged down from behind. Devondre Campbell on the takedown, a 6-yard pickup.
Campbell does a nice job in coverage in the trail. It's a counteraction movement. You want those coverage guys to be biting on the front side hard to be able to create that space in the back, but did a nice job with the coverage.
Those boots and nakeds work well when everybody sells it. The line comes off, selling the run. The back is disciplined with his track, and false start. Oh,
False start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. To second down.
Corey Luciano, who played a game last year for the Niners, was on their practice squad.
Non-lucky Luciano right there.
Now DJ Glaze was at right tackle. He's now probably done for the night. Dalton Wagner takes over. Sincere McCormick is the running back. Remember, Dylan Laube fumbled the last drive. Peterman, tough throw.
Dangerous throw.
Yeah. Amador Lenore jumped it. It was over his outstretched arms.
You notice who saw that immediately, the quarterback. He's like, whoa.
especially these outbreaking routes. You have to get a good sense of where that corner is and make sure he's not undercutting it, because if he does, especially on throws to your left, for a right-handed quarterback, those throws to your left, you got to make sure you get those hips open, that shoulder square to the target, but you cannot be late. You have to see the throw.
So the penalty, the incompletion, now 3rd down and about 8 for the Raiders. Peterman stands in the pocket.
Oh, nice
coverage.
Good coverage.
Solid coverage. Rock Yassin, the former Raider, broke it up. Would have been a 1st down.
That was accurate. I mean, where it needed to be. That's just good defense right there. He's going to take the inside, good man coverage, stay on top of him, stop shoulder. Look at that. You can't draw it up better than that.
Yeah, pretty good throw, Matt, as you said, and Rock Yassin just gets that left hand in there and knocks it away.
Remember, Yassin was traded from Indianapolis to the Raiders for Yannick Ngakoue a couple years ago. The starting corner had some injuries. Went to Baltimore last year, did not play a ton. Cole will try and pin the Niners inside the 20. It's Jacob Cowan. Gets away from one. And takes it out to the 20-yard line, which will send us to a break. 43-yard punt. Niners offense back on the field without Brock Purdy. Set this alumni weekend here inside Allegiant Stadium has been wonderful all throughout. 250 Raiders here inside Allegiant Stadium, and Howie Long good enough to join us. Matt's longtime teammate, great Super Bowl defense. Howie, thanks for hopping on board. What's this weekend been like for you?
It's been great. You know, a lot of memories. You mentioned Matt. You know, Matt probably took 2 or 3 of my sport coats, had them shortened. He'd come over for dinner, and you know, my wife still talks about it. She's traumatized from Matt's visit.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, he was one of the guys that when I got here in when I got to Oakland in 1981 was a big impact on me. And you know, I have my Matt Millen poster up at Villanova. And he was one of my heroes.
He had low standards, by the way.
Yeah, him and Bruce Clark.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, Howie's one of the best we've ever had here. He's a Hall of Famer, and he does a phenomenal job on Fox. So he keeps up with the game, keeps up with the Raiders, and been a Raider from day one all the way through.
Howie, from 81 to 93, no one did it better. You know, you look at this Raiders defense right now, and Matt and I have been talking about it. All the great defenses that I've competed against have the ability to be physical up front, stop the run.
Cool.
What's going to be the key this year for this Raiders front seven?
Well, you know, it's rare that you're able to get a young defensive tackle. They went and did that. I think that helps Max a great deal. And I think the thing that's most impressive about Max, one, is his play. And he's on the field probably too many snaps, actually. And I think when I came in 81 and 82, you know, it's Art Shell, it's Gene Upshaw, it's Ted Hendricks, it's Matt, it's, you know, there was greatness all around you. Ron Wolf, Al Davis. You didn't have to look far for greatness. I think what Max is doing in lifting this group up is so impressive because he doesn't have that around him. And I think the offense is going to take a while, but I like the listen, everyone's in sub packages, Rich. You know, I mean, it's like they're throwing the ball more than ever, and Pop Warner, you know, high school, college, the same thing. It's spread, it's 4 wide receivers. They're in sub packages. I'll be really interested to see what happens when you throw 2-3 tight ends on the field and you force people to maybe change their personnel and take advantage of them that way and maybe make up for maybe the quarterback not being the guy that you're seeing long term, but you want to, it's a stopgap.
Charles Snowden, nice tackle there to force the Niners to a 3 and out. How you had a chance to see Brock Bowers at all, and what type of dynamic element he might add for that second tight end?
What can he do? And the other kid is, a lot of people don't really know how good he is, and I think it's going to be evident this year. I think you're going to see a lot of 12, 13 personnel. I think you're going to see mismatches in terms of personnel. You're trying to keep that linebacker on the field, keep a corner off the field, force people to do what they don't want to do, and that's play the run on a regular basis.
Hey, Howard, you may want to look up here. How about this?
There we go.
McAllister!
Yeah.
Tyreek McAllister with a statement here in the preseason.
See, and those are the kind of games we're going to win 1916. That's the way it's going to be this year, I think.
Howard, you want to jump in the pile? Didn't he just run that to the win club with all the alumni?
No, if I jump in the pile, you'd have to pull me out and hoist me up.
Well, we've been looking for explosive plays for somebody other than Trey Tucker, and Tyreek McAllister just took that 81 yards to the end zone.
This is great to see. We talked about the opportunities that some of these young players have on this last audition, you know, for a job. And I think we're going to go from 90 to 53. 37 players are going to get their walking papers. What a great job by a young returner to take advantage of that snap.
Well, that guy right there led the CFL in kick return yards last year with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And he's got the Raiders on the board as Carlson knocks it through. Howie, thank you so much. Go shake some more hands.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Hey, Bubba, I love you, buddy.
You too, my friend.
All right.
Great Howie along right there. And that's one more point presented by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Visit CreditOneBankTravel.com. Roster spots on the line. Tyreek McAllister putting his name.
Right, back then you could have those wedge busters.
For every Raiders first down at Allegiant Stadium this year, American First Credit Union will donate $100 to a local charity. Well, it wasn't a first down, but 81 yards. Tyreek McAllister had a punt return for a touchdown.
He was 88 and out the gate. I mean, there was just one cut and he was gone. I mean, there's the nice hole, and
there's the acceleration right there.
There was no way that the punter was going to make that tackle.
Well, again, you know, we've talked a lot about Dylan Laube as an FCS guy who do a lot of different things. Tyreek McAllister at Charleston was a D2 guy, but over 2,600 rushing yards in college. He had over 1,000 receiving yards and obviously can return.
Yeah, he's got something to him. He's got some quicks. He's good vision. He has a kick returning. You have to have a knack for him. He seems to have that.
Guerrero trying to answer. Isaac Guerrero breaks tackles. Sam Webb trying to chase him down and will knock him out of bounds at the 5, but not before a 92-yard return by the rookie out of Louisville. Well, you get 81, I'll take 92, and we'll be inside the 5.
Somebody didn't stay in their lanes on that left side, Matt.
Yeah, he just found the crack right there.
There it is. Yep. Got to force it back up inside. A couple missed tackles. Right there.
Sam Webb stayed after him, and he ends up making the tackle. You would like to have seen that 30 yards earlier. His angle was wrong.
Well, Isaac Guerendo's been dealing with an injury in preseason. This is first game action. That's a big play for the 4th-round draft pick. Brandon Allen, the handoff. And not much there for the Niners backup running back, Patrick Taylor.
Brandon Allen's been around. We're talking about these quarterbacks. Nathan Peterman being on a number of different teams. Brandon Allen, 8 years, played in Jacksonville, played for the Rams, Denver, Cincinnati, San Francisco now.
Former 6th-round pick of the Jaguars back in 2016. He has 9 career starts at 2nd and goal. It's Taylor again. That was a big hole, and he spins his way in. Touchdown Niners. So the 92-yard kickoff return paid off by San Francisco on a 3-yard touchdown run.
That's just power football straight ahead.
We say it all the time. Good red zone teams have the ability to run the ball in this part of the field, an area where the Raiders have to be better. 26 in red zone defense a season ago.
That was former Raider offensive lineman Brandon Parker pushing the pile. Well, you got all the juice in this building on the punt return, and San Francisco turned that right around.
Sudden change. When you have a sudden change as a defense, you go on the field, you got to respond. You got to be able to hold them to field goals in that part of the field. Yeah. A little pushing and shoving going on right now. Not a lot of love lost between these two franchises.
It never really was, yeah. And
you think about it, you know, back in the day in the Bay Area, it was,
oh yeah,
right?
Yep.
Pretty heated rivalry, even though that Raiders were in the AFC and the Niners were in the NFC. I just remember some preseason games got pretty physical.
It was always the first preseason game of every season.
Yeah.
This was the Oakland and San Francisco is what would open your season every year.
And look, Matt, you won a Super Bowl with both.
Both of them.
So you understand that. We got a chance last night on Alumni Weekend. Rich and I were talking with Bill Romanowski. He went the other way. Niners first, Raiders second.
Right. Yep. Romo, that's another one. He's a piece of work.
Swimming laps today in the Mandalay Bay pool. Yellow floaties out. He was getting his workout in. Let's see if the Raiders special teams can answer. Laube and McAllister back deep again.
Jason, these players know the significance of making a big play in the kicking game. A lot of these players are going to make the team based on what they're able to do on special teams.
And Laube trying to get to the edge. And the Niners have him hemmed in at the 21. Curtis Robinson, backup linebacker there to make the stop. Well, at some point tonight, we know we will see or expect to see Carter Bradley, but this first half has been Nathan Peterman. Rich, what have been your takeaways so far about the journeyman trying to make the roster?
You know, it's hard. You know, you play with a lot of young players. You've been playing against a pretty good defense. You look at what he's done so far, just throwing the ball 3 of 5 for 20 yards. He definitely needs more opportunities, and they got to stay out of those big numbers on third down. They've had a lot of 3rd and longs so far here in the first half.
Niners starting defense for the most part now off the field. A couple of linebackers in the secondary still in there. Nice pocket for Peterman. Checks it down to McCormick. And a couple of yards there, Samuel Womack with the stop.
The one thing that's clear when you watch Nathan Peterman, he knows the system, right?
Yeah,
you see the mechanics. He's getting in and out of the plays. He's going through the progressions. His feet look good, the footwork, the timing. You know, he knows where people are in the progression. It's just, here's a guy that obviously has been in this system the last 2 years with Luke Getsy in Chicago. So that's a huge benefit for him. And just in terms of their comfort level, if in fact he would have to play at some point this season. He's got history in the system. That's always a good thing.
Well, remember, the rule a couple of years ago allows you to have an emergency 3rd quarterback dress on game day. Jalen Guyton makes the grab, and that changes things too. But you have to be on the 53 to be emergency 3rd quarterback on game day.
But another guy in that quarterback room that knows the system, that can answer some questions when the coaches aren't there, when they're sitting there watching film.
I really like the way he has really good eye discipline. He goes through his routes. You can see him. He's going from top to bottom. Really well done.
He has experienced the preseason with the Raiders before. The organization from 2018 all the way to 2021.
John Gruden really liked him. I know that.
He takes the snap. He's got the QB sneak, and he's got a first down. Just the second first down for the Raiders here of the opening half. You'd love to see this group put long drive together here to end the second quarter.
I'd like to see that offensive line be a little more dominant up front. Like right now, they got a little bit of a push there, but I just want to see more physicality out of both offense and defensive fronts.
And Matt, that's going to be so important with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. This is an offense that has to be able to lean on the running game a lot. Got to be able to win battles at the line of scrimmage, push people back in the running game.
It's here McCormick. Sneaks through. Oh, his offensive lineman. It was Dalton Wagner who hit him. He somehow got through 5 49ers, but Dalton Wagner didn't give him the space needed, and they collided, and he went down.
And you're going to watch Dalton 78. You see him getting outside. And the typical lineman.
Well, if he could somehow cut that back inside, he had a lot of room.
Yeah, he did.
Straight drop for Peterman. Too far for Wilkerson. Coverage by the rookie Renardo Green, second round pick out of Florida State. It's 3rd and long.
Not bad coverage by Green over there. He had to have a perfect ball thrown. It was a little bit too high to the outside.
Some tight windows. That was not the best route.
Right.
Another big 3rd down. 3rd and 8. Need to be better on the early downs. Little bunch set down the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
That's Wilkerson, the motion man, on 3rd down and 8. Niners bring 4. Way over his head. Again, it's Green in coverage. So A.J. Cole will have to trot on to punt it away again.
Let's take a look at the all-22. You know, we started evaluating the quarterback position. I just want you to watch the top of the route. This is all man coverage, okay? Just watch all these receivers at the top of the route. Go ahead and run it. I'll tell you when to freeze it. All right, go ahead and freeze it. Who are you going to throw the ball to? You tell me. You tell me who's open. That's, you know, when you evaluate a rep for a quarterback, you got to say to yourself, are these guys winning the battles in one-on-one matchups?
3rd punt for A.J. Cole, and he booms it. 56 yards on the punt. It's going to be blocking the back, so the Niners will be backed up. As 2 flags flew. They'll be inside the 10-yard line. Well, that's one of the things we talk about with Antonio Pierce every week. You know, you expect to have a good defense, and you know you got a great punter.
Well, look, what's the formula for success for the Raiders this year? They got to be. They got to
return. Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 49. Pass it to the goal. First down.
They got to rely on their defense, right? They have to be dominant on defense, and they got to be really good in the kicking game. There's the clip right there. There's the block on the back. They got to be able to run the football. I think Gardner Minshew has to take care of the football. And they're going to have to learn to win a lot of close games. That's the reality of the NFL. I don't care who you are. You know, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, most of these games come down to the last couple of minutes, and that's where the Raiders have to win games. You know, you look at and they have to be aggressive. We'll talk about that after this play. I want to talk. I think this is a team that has the opportunity to do something special this year, but they have to have that mindset.
Allen back to the air. Cameron Latu, one of the backup tight ends, chopped down.
So, Jason, you and I were talking about this mentality about being aggressive. The 2022 New York Giants went 9-7-1 with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And they won a road playoff game. Brian Dable was the coach of the year. They were 9-7-1. How'd they do it? They were aggressive late in games. They took chances, and they won a lot of close games. The Raiders can do that this year. but everybody has to do their part.
Remember, it started week 1.
Yeah.
Right? Giants were at Tennessee. They were a big underdog. And
that was an overtime win, was it not?
No, they went for 2.
That's right. They went for 2.
Barkley scored, and they went for 2. And Brian Daboll was heralded the rest of that season, to your point.
But they won a lot of close games, and they did it with Daniel Jones, who has had some problems. Saquon Barkley carried the load offensively. They played good defense, and they were sound in the kicking game. That's how you do it. 9-7-1. You make the playoffs. You go on the road. You beat the Vikings. Anything can happen if you take care of the little things.
Taking a deep shot. Latu in front of Jaquan Shepard, makes back-to-back grabs. Picks up 22.
Yeah, all you're going to see is he runs a pretty decent route. He knows the guy has him to the top side. You're just going to come back underneath.
Little scissors route.
Yeah.
One going to the post, one going to the corner. Shepard had a hard time opening up those hips.
Latu, third-round pick last year, never got to play. Torn his meniscus at the end of the preseason. That's a big hole, but the timeout was taken, and the whistle blew before the play started.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout, Las Vegas. 30-second timeout.
And so we'll keep it right there.
I think they only had 10 on the field.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Now, some of those things that, last week we talked about penalties with Antonio Pierce, right? The storyline was trying to figure out who's the starting quarterback. And he named Gardner Minshew Sunday morning in his teleconference. But the other things coming out of that he wasn't happy about, again, the run defense and some of the little things that you're talking about, right? Penalties.
Yeah, he's been hard, but listen, you sit down and talk to Antonio Pierce, and he's been talking about setting the tempo on defense, and I think it starts with stopping the run, and it hasn't been to their standard, man.
Right.
That's something that you got to come out of the gates. If you always say, if you want to have some fun and rush the passer, you got to stop the run.
Absolutely, you've got to be on early downs, and then you got to be physical. You have to have a physical front. When all else fails, just go in and beat the snot out of them.
Pressure up the middle.
There it is.
Byron Young got through. First to the quarterback, and last year's third-round pick out of Alabama with a solid play.
He can thank his guys in the secondary because there's not anything to throw to. He has opportunity right here. He's in the pocket. He steps up quick, but the coverage is good. Ball's not going to be able to get out, so even a second effort can make this happen.
Well, as good as the Raiders defense was last year, and they were a top 10 defense, they were 21st against the run all season long. You go back to the Chicago game, and again, I know the defense changed when Antonio Pierce took over, and it was he and Patrick Graham working together. But you go back to Chicago and Luke Getsy, how did they win that game? They ran all over the Raiders in Chicago that day.
Yeah, and so it's, again, defense is about controlling the guy in front of you. In order to do that, you have to get off the ball quick, get into the offensive guy, and gain control. It's not easy to do, but it requires some physicality.
Third down here. 3rd and 11. For Brandon Allen, who's competing with Josh Dobbs for the backup job in San Francisco. Pressure from Snowden. Right off the snap. And Charles Snowden having a nice first half.
That's exactly what you're looking for off an edge rusher. Got the speed, get upfield. He gets to that top side shoulder before the tackle can turn. That's well done.
Dropped him for a loss of 13. So the Raiders have 3 sacks here in the first half, after not having any in the first 2 games here in the preseason.
Another opportunity for McAllister. And here we go. I let it hit the ground.
He wanted to try and get up there, but a short punt that bounced 11 yards.
Don't be offsides. Don't rough the kicker, and don't let the ball hit the ground.
All of those things combined. We've hit the 2-minute warning. See if the Raiders can put together a 2-minute drill.
Everybody loves the know-it-all. This guru of the gridiron is full of wisdom beyond his stature.
Can anyone beat the Chiefs?
Do you think the Eagles are for real?
Hey, son, what's my opinion on the NFC North?
Jordan Love is definitely winning MVP this year.
Only a fool wouldn't at least consider someone like Joe Cool Burrow. Are you a fool, Mr. Harrison?
Unbelievable. And with NFL Plus Premium, you too can be a football know-it-all.
Now, two of the Raiders stars, Devontae Adams, Max Crosby looking on. Raiders starters not playing tonight. More than 35 guys not dressed up, but they'll get it going in a couple weeks in LA against the Chargers.
They'll be ready to go.
Matt, you couldn't have afforded that chain with your signing bonus your first year. You wouldn't have been able to afford that.
I couldn't afford his glasses with a signing bonus.
That's some bling right there. Holy smokes.
What'd you get, a tank of gas?
And it was half full when I got it.
A 2-minute opportunity for Nathan Peterman.
Got to see it.
Had the reps the entire first half. Over the middle. Nice grab. Good throw. Christian Wilkerson moves the chains on a first down.
Nice rope, too. Ball right where it had to be at the inside of the receiver on that inside route. Good accuracy.
Really important on the first play of a 2-minute drive to get a completion. This is a good throw, Matt, as you said. Nice grab by Wilkerson.
Down for Guyton.
Ooh, that was good defense by the offense right there.
Yeah, Guyton knocked that away from Darrell Luter Jr. Second-year pro out of Alabama. Out of South Alabama, excuse me.
Smart play. And when you're a receiver in that position, you know you got to break. You got to turn into a defender. Well done.
Well, the offense tonight so far for the Raiders, just 64 yards, 3 first downs. They haven't been able to put back-to-back good plays together. They've had some nice plays, but
screen.
Yeah, to Britton Brown with blocking in front. Got it through, breaks a tackle, and Britton Brown down to the Niners' 45-yard line for 20 yards.
I like the call, Rich.
Yeah, good looking screen too, Matt. Peterman does a nice job drawing the rush and then kicking it out to the back of the flat. And good patient running by Britton Brown.
Good throw. Wilkerson turns away from the defense.
Out of bounds.
And he does. Picked up about 7 or 8 more yards. Now they will keep that clock running. They said his hip came down inbounds. I don't know if Nathan Peterman knows that just yet.
Yeah, he does. They still have plenty of time. He's at the line of scrimmage trying to get one dialed up.
And now we've got a stoppage here with 46 seconds left in the half.
Trying to figure out whether or not he was inbounds or not. I think that's the conversation that Bill Vinovich is having with the line judge.
Now remember, because the clock was running, Rich, and we're inside of 2 minutes, if it is in fact that it was ruled correctly.
After review, the runner was out of bounds.
There you go.
So now they got to figure out how much time.
Game clock to 1:03.
There you go, 17 seconds back on the clock.
You see the back just come over. And good job by Peterman drawing the rush, getting up, dropping that one in. A nice finish at the end. One back to the ball. Now nice move. And yeah, his feet are
out. Yeah. They added 17 seconds. Raiders still have 2 timeouts. Nice 2-minute drill. The pump fake and Fotheringham hit from behind by Womack right when the ball got there.
Ooh, that was close too.
It's a good job by Peterman not holding it. It's first down.
Yep. One
thing we can't afford is a sack in that situation. The one thing I love to see the tight end do, though,
he hit him before the ball got there.
The one thing I love to see him do, though, is work back to the quarterback once that ball's in the air.
Yep.
You know, you got Fotheringham. He should work back to the ball.
The crowd inside Allegiant Stadium just saw the replay.
Another screen.
Yeah, another screen to Brown. Good block by Jordan Meredith. And another first down to the 15-yard line. They pick up 12.
That's a nice job by Britton Brown, just using his blockers and as shields and staying behind them and picking up the necessary yards you need.
Ooh.
And almost intercepted. That ball definitely hit the ground.
Couple things. The back's got to see it come out of the hands of the quarterback, and I think Nathan Peterman could have helped him by taking a little something off the ball, and I think the back could have helped him by getting his head around a little bit quicker. So that's just a good example of the quarterback. Look how hot this one comes in, Matt. That's hard to handle for the running back.
Hit him in the chest.
Got to see it come out of your hand. Sometimes there's a screen there. You got the big lineman, the hands up, but
that surprised him.
Nathan Peterman on the drive, 4 of 7 for 64 yards. Jalen Guyton crossing over the middle, right into the waiting arms of D. Winters, and Antonio Pierce takes his second time out of the half with 26 seconds to go and a 3rd and 3 coming up.
Been a good looking drive. Screen game has helped in some of these crossing routes versus zone coverage. Just finding a little hole, little window. See Peterman, a good throw here to Guyton.
Well, and remember, as we've talked about, the Raiders feel great about 4 receivers, right? Trey Tucker, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Adams, and DJ Turner, thanks to what he's done here in the preseason. And he's not playing tonight. Those guys are going to be on the roster. 5th spot, if they keep a 6th. We've seen some good things tonight. Christian Wilkerson. We've seen some nice things from Tyreek McAllister in the return game, too.
And you mentioned Wilkerson and how well he played last year in that last preseason game, that game that really helped him make the 53-man roster.
3rd and 3, 9th play of the drive. Quick drop. Guyton has the first down. 1st and goal for the Raiders, and Antonio Pierce takes his final time out of the half with 20 seconds to go.
So every throw here is going to be in the end zone. So you got to tighten up your coverage and stuff here. But this actually, that corner laid off a little bit too much, because that ball wasn't there right away, Rich.
No, you're right.
3rd and final timeout.
You hate to see a corner have that bail technique in that part of the field. I'd rather see the guy be physical, get his hands on that receiver and jam him at the line of scrimmage. Don't give him a clean release. That was too easy for Jalen Guyton.
From a timing perspective, and you'd ask this question more so in the regular season, the 20 seconds at the 3 long. Can you run the football?
You can.
Can you quickly snap it, call 2 plays?
I don't think you run it in this situation. No. I really think that I like the idea of moving the quarterback, changing the launch point, getting Peterman out on the edge. But I think if you run the ball here, you risk only having 2 chances rather than 3. If you throw it, you got 3 chances. Easier to run it on 3rd down.
To the air, Peterman rolls out, being chased to the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders!
Really good throw.
Christian Wilkerson snagged it out of the air. Now there are flags down in the end zone, so we check the markers.
I think that's going to be defensive holding.
Holding. Defense number 43. Penalties decline. Results of play. Touchdown.
That is a solid 2-minute march led by the 30-year-old Nathan Peterman, capped off by Christian Wilkerson.
And a nice job by Peterman not giving up on the play. You look at Wilkinson just working back. I give Christian Wilkins a lot of credit for just keeping that play alive.
Yeah, did a nice job right there. And Peterman standing in the pocket, Peterman's pretty good in that drive.
Yeah, but Wilkins just kept working back to the quarterback, took a friendly angle.
Extra point good. Peterman was 7 of 10 on that 2-minute drive. I remember began with 1:57 on the clock. So they marched it 79 yards and took 143 and put it in the end zone.
Something about Christian Wilkerson late in training camp. We saw it last year in the 3rd preseason game. We're seeing it again tonight. Making plays when it matters the most down in the red zone. Wilkerson coming to life.
You said that about last year, right? In Dallas, 10 grabs, over 120 yards. Made the initial 53, and initially a undrafted free agent. Christian Wilkerson out of Southeast Missouri State. Played with the Patriots for 3 seasons. He was active the first 2 games last year. re-signed to the practice squad after getting cut week 2. But again, he's special teams, 5th or 6th receiver, trying to make a name here and try to stick again.
And that's the other thing you point out, Jason. Wilkerson can cover kicks. He can be a return guy. He can contribute, obviously, on the offense. But that versatility is so important when you're trying to make the 53-man roster.
Remember, the Niners had a 92-yard kickoff return on their last one. Patrick Taylor's got a hole again. And he takes it out near midfield, but there are flags that flew towards the end of that run.
Holding.
Yeah, it's going to come back.
Antonio Pierce not happy with the coverage units. You can just see it on his face. Gonna find some guys, Matt, that can cover kicks.
Not easy.
During the return, holding. Receiving team number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's not easy because a lot of these guys in college didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, there's a hold on the top and on the bottom, so take your pick.
Well, but you know, Rich, even if they did do it in college, it's a different kickoff return, right?
Yes.
You don't have guys running all the way downfield and trying to set up blocks. You have guys 5 yards in front of you this time.
Yeah, Tom McMahon, the special teams coordinator, he's looking for those type of guys that can do it, that can play in space. Guys with short area quickness that can cover kicks and punts.
Allen takes the knee down and the kneel down, and that'll bring us to halftime. We'll catch up with Antonio Pierce here in just a second. But look, this has been a very entertaining first half. A lot of explosive plays on both ways. So a lot of very entertaining things happened here towards the end of this first half. Raiders an 81-yard punt return for a touchdown. Tyreek McAllister had the punt return for a touchdown and a great 2-minute drive to finish the first half. Antonio Pierce now with the headset on joining us. Coach, that 2-minute drill situational drive, what your takeaway of that touchdown drive?
Really good job by the quarterback. Clock situation, good job by 83 getting out of bounds. I think just a good extra execution all the way. We were going 4 down the whole time, looking to score 7.
Coach, you know the importance of special teams. You know how that factors into the decision-making process on that final 53. Tyreek McAllister with the big return. You love to see that, but the coverage unit's probably not to your standard tonight.
No, not at all. These are the guys that's trying to make it there on the bubble. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, Antonio, the thing I'm looking at is your run defense. And they got a little bit pushed around up front in the beginning. How are you going to straighten that out?
Yeah, we got to get off blocks. We got a lot of guys getting one-on-ones, and we're just staying latched on, allowing that just to crease right through down the middle of the field of our defense. That's not how we play football. That's been a problem the last 3 weeks. We got to continue to work on that.
Coach, we appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Antonio Pierce will hop back into the locker room. The defense, though, did have 3 sacks tonight here in the first half. And a takeaway. Chris Smith had the interception off the Sam Webb deflection. Halftime here on Alumni Weekend in Las Vegas.
Lineup now, and he looks and throws. Intercepted by the Oakland Raiders. Running around at the 30, 40, 50. He's gone.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Coors Light. Choose chill, an official beer of Raider Nation. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports.
Starts with us, it ends with us.
It was the greatest feeling in the world.
Over the shoulder catch. Oh, man, Willie. Touchdown, Raiders. It is caught by Grant. Holy.
It is the first touchdown as the Las Vegas Raiders.
And he's set for the safety.
Just win, baby.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Yamava. Experience world-class gaming at Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Must be 21 or over to enter. Please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. The birth of the American Football League led to the inception of the Oakland Raiders in 1960.
Councilman Bob Osborne, what is the new name? The new name is the Raiders.
The first 3 seasons came with growing pains until the arrival of Al Davis as head coach and general manager in 1963.
We're going to predicate this organization on class, pride, and poise,
which established a tradition of winning and an identity.
I had total confidence that I could build the finest organization and have the greatest players, the greatest coaches, play in the greatest games, and of course, have the best records in professional sports.
The first major breakthrough occurred in 1967, when the Raiders set a league record with a 13-1 mark, en route to their first AFL championship, the first major professional sports title for the city of Oakland.
The Raiders enjoy their initial American Football League championship.
Unified in their commitment to excellence, the Silver and Black would capture 3 world championships of professional football.
Old Man Willie, touchdown Raiders!
Kickoff, Rod Martin the third time today!
Between the 1976 and 1983 seasons.
The Raiders have won the Super Bowl championship. They are the world champs.
This was the finest hour in the history of the Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby.
A legend, a maverick, and a pioneer. Hall of Fame owner Al Davis passed away in 2011. Since then, his son Mark has taken on the mantle in guiding the Silver and Black.
The fire that burns brightest is the will to win and the greatness of the Raiders.
Is in its future. Just win, baby.
Today, that fire still burns bright here in Las Vegas.
I look forward to fulfilling the promise of 2 legacies and 1 future for Raider Nation and Las Vegas.
And embracing the Raider way, pride, poise, and passion.
When you talk about commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I've heard of it, I know of it, I've seen it, but when you walk in this building, you can feel it.
It starts with our DNA, ill intent, physicality, toughness, speed, attitude, full-blown effort. Raider Nation, that bad boy good.
7 memorable decades, 30 Pro Football Hall of Famers, 25 postseason victories, 5 AFL and AFC championships, and 3 Super Bowl titles. Though names, faces, and locations have changed, one constant remains: the unyielding will to win.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
17-14, Niners the lead over the Raiders as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Las Vegas will get the ball to start this third quarter. Jason Horowitz, Rich Gannon, Matt Millen, happy to have you back with us. So coming to this game for the Raiders, certainly guys tried to make the roster. You had a lot of spark plays, 3 sacks and a punt return for a touchdown and a 2-minute drive to cap one off before the end of the half.
Love what I saw at the end of the half with Nathan Peterman in that drive. Real poise. We talked about his comfort level in the system, having played the last 2 years in Chicago for Luke Getsy, at least being on that roster. And I think that's certainly helpful. But I want to continue to see more big plays from this defense, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I really think is they have to be more physical. They have to be more physical at the point. I see them losing the line of scrimmage sometimes. That part I don't like. And in the run game offensively, they really haven't established themselves at the line of scrimmage. So to me, it's all up front what we're watching here in this first half.
Just 21 rushing yards. Look what that means in terms of time of possession. That's a big story there. Yeah. Almost 10 more minutes of possession.
Those halftime stats brought to you by Yamava. Experience world-class gaming at Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Must be 21 or over to enter. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. So these are the good plays there from the defense. Matthew Butler had a sack. Charles Snowden had one as well. This was a great play by Chris Smith, and he took it back 31 yards as well. So certainly some big plays. And Charles Snowden had a couple. He had a deflection at the line. He had a tackle for a loss, and he had a sack there too.
They come up with some big plays at the right times. consistency is what we're really talking about, Rich.
You know, you think about what this game could mean, and you and I, we were talking before the game about it. When I first came to the Raiders in 1999, we had Rashaan Salam, who was a first-round pick of the Chicago Bears as a running back in '95. Tyrone Wheatley. He came to us in '99 as well as a free agent. Both were running backs. Both were looking to make this roster. And through the first 3 weeks in preseason, everyone thought it was going to be Rashaan Salam.
That's Dax Milne with a nice return. And he tiptoed the sideline. There is a late flag that threw in.
So everybody thought it was going to be Rashaan Salam. As it turned out, Tyrone Wheatley went off in that last preseason game. And John Gruden was convinced that he'd be the best fit for our offense. And in those following 2 years, those 2 seasons in '99 and 2000, Tyrone Wheatley rushed for 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns. That was the kind of impact that he had. And it all happened because of what he did
in the last
preseason game.
Amazing.
Now, by the way, that announcement was not made by Bill Vinovich. We did not get made aware of anything during the halftime, but Bill Vinovich is not out here.
And sometimes what happens, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but sometimes they'll use this as an opportunity to take an official down to see how they adjust, or have someone else on the mic. Could very well be what's happening.
All right, so we'll try and find that out. Carter Bradley comes out for his first series. Sincere McCormick trying to keep himself going. He got a couple of yards. So we saw Nathan Peterman in the first half. 12 of 19 for 108 yards, a touchdown. He had a great 2-minute drive, and they put it in the end zone. Now it's Carter Bradley's turn, and it's the battle for who's the third quarterback on this roster.
I want to see this kid do well. Obviously, he got his career started at Toledo, went to South Alabama. 22, he set a school record for 3,326 passing yards and 28 touchdowns. He played in 46 games with 34 starts, played a lot of football in college. Obviously, his dad, Gus Bradley, great defensive coordinator here in the NFL, and he's going to have here the second half to show what he can do.
He's going to hand it off to Tyreek McAllister, trying to add on to his big night, and the jet sweep picks up a first down.
That's a nice job by Zach Gentry just to get a piece of the guy, or that was going to be a tackle for a loss. Gentry did a nice job coming back to get the defender.
You know, guys, we have not seen a lot of Tyreek McAllister here in the preseason. But, you know, when you don't play, the Raiders aren't dressing 37 guys tonight. So when you do that, you get an opportunity to put all of this out there for some of these players, and he has taken advantage. McCormick trying to follow the block of Jordan Meredith, and he picks up about 2.
I think the important thing with that, though, Jace, is, and so sometimes some of those guys here, they can play. They just are not going to be able to play here. But there's a whole other league that's watching every single game. Their eyes on it all the time. And it may not be for week 1. Sometimes it might be even out to week 8 or 9. But you watch what they're doing in the preseason, and you see they have the skills necessary.
And keep in mind, 16 of these players will make a practice squad, whether it's here in Las Vegas or somewhere else.
McCormick again, nice hole. And Sincere McCormick getting some work. He picks up about 10 and a first down.
There's no question when you watch some of these young players play, like a guy like McCormick, he can definitely play in the NFL. It's a question of, you know, who's in front of him, how much experience. And he's a guy that...
And special teams.
And special teams contributions, you're right, Matt, but the practice squad is important for some young players, their development. There's guys that have made the practice squads the following year and have been solid contributors and in some cases starters.
When he was on the practice squad last year. He has a nice block there to set it up for Bradley. He let it rip, and it's caught. Ramel Keaton got between the secondary. Now they blew that whistle dead. That ball came out after he was down. That's a solid delivery for 22.
Yeah, this is
good block here.
Yep, and this is one thing you have to learn to do as a running back. Most of those guys do. That ball was perfectly thrown, but most of the running backs who come in and they're so used to running, they don't understand the blocking concepts. It takes them a while to get it down.
And they struggle, and then you don't want to put them out there. You don't want to get the quarterback hurt, Matt, not knowing what to do or how to do it.
Right.
He stays in the block again. Bradley stepped up and delivers. What an adjustment! Oh, man! Tyreek McAllister is in the end zone again!
Well, two things there. You got to give the quarterback some credit. That's a really terrific job there by Carter Bradley, avoiding the rush and then giving McAllister a chance to make the play. But, Jason, as you point out, that was an incredible catch. Watch the quarterback climb the pocket. And watch this adjustment by McAllister. That is not an easy catch.
No, that's a
great concentration.
He came back to the ball just the way you should want him to. Ball was a little on the underthrown side.
Wow.
That's a great catch.
Love that Carter Bradley gave him a chance.
Bradley was 3 for 3 for 61 yards. McAllister a couple of grabs. And so the Raiders end the first half with a 2-minute touchdown drive. And they start the second half. Who's in at center. And an interception on the first pass.
Amazing.
It's Jack Jones.
Amazing.
It's a pick six.
Amazing.
Lincoln now breaks the record.
Amazing.
The highest point total in Raiders franchise history is Jack Jones on an interception for a touchdown. That was a fun Thursday night in December. And tonight's thrilling moment brought to you by Yamaha. Raider Nation voted that plays their favorite, as well as a lot of other great plays in Raiders history, as we have the celebration of the 65th season this year in Raiders franchise history, all tonight on Alumni Weekend. And 250 plus Raiders are in attendance, including one of the all-time great corners in NFL history, Mike Haynes, who's now joining us on the broadcast. Mike, you're seeing explosive plays all over the place tonight. It looks like your career.
Hey, I love it. I mean, this is the way I remember football being played. It's been great today.
Well, not so much the kickoff, though. This looks different for you, though, right?
Well, let's see what happens here.
We already had one touchdown go that way.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this one's going to stop at a normal spot, the 28-yard line.
That's my old roommate down there, Michael Haynes. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. We just had a chance to talk just the other night. And one of the things I wanted to bring up about here was how defenses change when you start having a lockdown corner. Now, we happen to have two, right? We had you and the Judge on the other side. But when you showed up, that changed our defense completely. And we just were able to take teams and just lock them down.
And I enjoyed it. I can't even tell you how much I enjoyed it. Playing, starting my career with the Patriots, we played a lot of zones, and we were very good at disguising our defenses. And the Raiders were too when I came to the Raiders, but we disguised man coverage. Right. It's kind of crazy.
Mike, what was it like coming from an organization like the Patriots and coming to an organization like the Raiders that had some different personalities, but man, when you guys got on the field, you just dominated people?
Well, for me, it was a lot of fun, because when on the Patriots, I just felt like we were smart, and we were going to outplay the other team, outsmart them. When I came to the Raiders, it was like we were going to outman them. We were just better athletes. We're just going to beat them. So it was a lot of fun for me.
Mike, how you doing physically?
Well, good. I've had a lot of challenges with my health, but I'm 71, man. I got 40 more years to go. So
more power to you.
I'm doing great.
Mike, you've been around this team a lot, and you've seen some of the struggles that they had. What's it going to take to get this thing turned around and heading back in the right direction?
Well, I feel like watching the team tonight, they look like they are headed in the right direction. When the game first started off, I was a little worried, but they keep picking it up, and this second half, they seem really ready to go. So this is early in the season, so I think it's a little bit too early to tell, but it looks like we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, they look like they were almost about to have a second interception here in this ball game. Mike, you had 46, Pro Football Hall of Fame, all decade, all the Pro Bowls, the Patriots and the Raiders. Anything stand out to you more than anything else about your career?
Not really. My career, it was like our defensive coordinator, he had to be the guy that was going to put us in position to play really well. And on the Raiders, we play a lot of man because we had Lester on the other side. We had a great pass rush with our defensive line with guys like Howie and Lyle Alzado and the guys like that putting pressure on the other team. And we had an unbelievable secondary. We really did. not just me and Lester, but with Mike Davis and Otis McKinney and so many other guys, James Davis. All those guys could play, and they love to play. And you know, when we get a chance to be challenged, we can't look past that, and we look actually forward to those situations because we mostly would win those situations.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we're going to let you get back to the fancy Win Club down there and enjoy the rest of your fellow alumni and the rest of this evening. But thank you so much for hopping on here, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate an opportunity to talk about my old buddies.
Take care, Michael.
All right.
Mike Haynes, known to some as Matt Millen's roommate.
Yeah, exactly.
Presley Harvin into punt here in the second half. McAllister no longer back deep to receive the punt. Dax Milne trying to have some magic of his own. And the Raiders will start inside the 15-yard line on a 4-yard return after a punt of 41. It is fun to be around all these guys. And man, oh man, is Tyreek McAllister had a fun night too. Raiders up 21-17.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com.
I know that guy on the left. That's Rich Gannon.
Well, that's a long time ago.
That is, and our buddy Eric Allen. Henry Lawrence, not part of that group. He was a little further earlier. He played in all 3 of those Super Bowls and was joined singing with the house band here during that TV timeout.
No surprise. Henry's my rookie year, as soon as I got here, you could always hear Killer singing wherever. It was either in his shower or in his room or someplace. He was always singing.
I feel like Stand By Me is his go-to. Like, he sings during the regular season from time to time when he's here. I feel like that's the go-to.
Could be. Great player.
One of the great offensive linemen this franchise has had.
Well, they've had some good ones, that's for sure.
So Carter Bradley was 3 for 3, 61 yards and a touchdown. He tried to find Britton Brown out of the backfield and dropped it. So it'll be 3rd down. I'll tell you what, you know, I know the focus, Rich, has been about the first or second quarterback this entire offseason and the preseason. And we haven't seen a ton of Carter Bradley. We never saw Nathan Peterman until tonight, but those two guys, Bradley and Peterman, are giving them something to think about for who's going to be the 3rd quarterback.
And that's all you can ask for, just, you know, taking advantage of the opportunity you get, taking advantage of each rep, and that's why these reps are so important for Carter Bradley here the rest of the way.
Quick throw, he threw it behind Ramel Keaton.
Would have been a first.
Yeah.
Needed to be a better throw, more accurate.
Now, some of these quarterbacks, they have to learn to change pace.
Yeah.
You know, it's not how hard you can throw it, how fast you can throw it. It's throwing and catching a ball, getting the receiver into the transition to run, and ball placement. You know, getting them on the upfield number, not making them change their gait and slow down to catch it.
Accuracy, that's it.
That's it.
How much of that is nerves kicking in for a guy that's just trying to make the NFL?
Sometimes that's part of it, Jason. I think some of it is just reps, experience, just, you know, understanding the timing and rhythm of it. Not only that, but knowing who you're throwing to. Some guys are a little bit quicker out of the break. Some guys are a little quicker with their eyes.
Repeat 4th down.
By the way, to wrap up the story from earlier, that's Todd Prukup, who is the back judge. And as you mentioned, Rich, some of the games here in the preseason, they are eliminating one of the officials to kind of see how it goes, just in case something happens during the course of a game. We talked about Bill Vinovich, our referee, to start this game, and we were not alerted that was happening. He is standing right there on the sideline.
Yeah, so this is a great way, because what happens is, you know, you get an official that goes down, whether it's a line judge, whether it's a referee, you have to be able to make adjustments. And this is good practice for the officials as well.
A.J. Cole gets a great bounce. Ronnie Bell has some space on the run. Breaks out of 1 tackle and 2 and 3. And Ronnie Bell still going. Well, I don't know who's going to make the Niners roster, and we don't know who's going to make the Raiders roster. But man, oh man, have the folks who have been returning kicks and punts tonight been very good on both sides. The last couple of quarters to make the 53 for the Niners and the Raiders. Last instructions there on the sideline for the Raiders. Tyreek McAllister undrafted free agent in 2022 out of Charleston. He is our connection to the game. Brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights booked now only at Allegiant.com. Well, that was the adjustment made. But it's the time. It really has been, guys. I mean, we've talked about big plays, and the Niners have had some too. But Tyreek McAllister's put on a show tonight.
I told you that story about Tyrone Wheatley going off in the last preseason game in 1999 and making the roster and going on to having a really successful career with the Raiders. And you look at, you know, these opportunities that some of these young players get. Tyreek McAllister, punt return tonight for a touchdown, big reception for a touchdown. He's certainly making a statement here in this last preseason game.
Joshua Dobbs now in at quarterback for the Niners. So Brock Purdy started, played 3 possessions. Isaac Guerrero chopped down on the carry by Rashad Williams. But Josh Dobbs, journeyman in the league, made a lot of headlines last year. Started the season with the Arizona Cardinals, was traded at the deadline to the Vikings when Kirk Cousins torn his Achilles, and he got off to a great start with Minnesota, and now he's trying to make it on as the backup quarterback to Brock Purdy.
It's amazing how quickly things change in this business. He was a fan favorite for the Vikings for a couple weeks, and then he kind of fell off the radar. But eight teams in 8 years: Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Detroit, Tennessee, Arizona, Minnesota last year, and of course the 49ers hoping to make the roster this year.
Gannon Latu tackled by Sam Webb, whose helmet came off 9 yards.
Josh Dobbs is an interesting guy. He went to the University of Tennessee, and I believe he was a chemical engineer or electrical engineer.
Aerospace.
There it was. He was some type of engineer. He's a smart dude.
We are a 3-man tag team up here.
Yeah.
I was going to just say a Lehigh engineer and get it over with.
Yeah, that's it. But, you know, he's the guy, Matt, can learn to play but pretty quickly, I would assume. That's right, aerospace engineer. I think he did some stuff with NASA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he had an internship during his days at Tennessee. Guerrero again. Isaac Guerrendo's been pretty impressive tonight, too. 4th-round pick out of Louisville. Had first 4 years at Wisconsin last year with Jeff Brom. When Louisville made it to the ACC championship game, he's a guy, you know, and we've seen it tonight, Matt, tough to bring down. He's a big back at 6'2", 221.
Yeah, and he never, his legs never stop in motion. You know, he's always keeping them churning. Has really good balance, by the way, also.
Got 8 carries for 27 yards. He also had a 92-yard kickoff return tonight. Did not make it all the way to the end zone. Was tracked down at the 5. Dobbs going to throw. He lets it out to dry, and a nice tackle. Jaquan Shepard made the stop.
That'll set up a 3rd down.
As a quarterback, you have to see out in front of throws, and the last thing you want to do is lead the receiver or the back into a head-on collision. That could have been worse.
So 3rd down and 7. Raiders defense have held the Niners to 1 of 6 on 3rd down. Empty set for Dobbs. Raiders show blitz. Here they come. Dobbs gets it away, and the slant to Cowling is a 1st down. The rookie out of Arizona, who has shown a lot in the preseason. They think he's got all kinds of skills. And again, remember, that with San Francisco, they're dealing with the Brandon Ayuk situation that they're trying to figure out as well.
Which I don't understand, by the way. Maybe he wants to not be there. I have no idea. But Ayuk's a legit player. And that's a big hole to fill for that offense. He's the big playmaker. He's a consistent player. And he's obviously a very good player.
And he shows up in the running game like nobody's business, man. That guy is so good on the edge, blocking in the running game.
Patrick Taylor on the carry. Nice job tracking him down. Amari Gainer came all the way from his spot to bring him down for no gain.
Yeah, that was a good job of just tracking right, staying inside out of the guy and giving him one thing to do. As long as you're going to get pressure to the outside and you see this corner coming up, he's going to force things back in, or at least to flatten out. That allows the guy behind you to be able to come in and make a play.
Now, Max Crosby's got a nice smile on his face. I wonder what he's talking about. Dobbs quick throw. Gainer at a stop. And his teammates come to help him as well. Braden Willis the catch.
A little hook route, that little Hank route over the ball has been very effective tonight for the 49ers, regardless of what quarterback's been in there. Right in the middle of those linebackers, man.
Yep. Yeah, when they're dropping, there's a void and right to the middle of the field. So if you can find it, you take it.
They're down and 1.
See who wins up front.
Taylor hopped into the hole, still going, and he's inside the 10-yard line. Gainer made his 6th tackle of the night, but it's a 12-yard run.
They get the double team, get off to the second level. Nobody gets to the second level. The safety's got to come down to try to make that play.
Got to make that tackle. Jake Grant's got to make that one in the hole.
Yep.
Patrick Taylor Jr., 4 years with the Packers organization, had 141 yards rushing last year. First and goal for the Niners. Dobbs so far perfect. He's 4-4. Well, they keep it going. Pressure. Janaris Robinson giving chase. Dobbs trying to get the edge. And nested Jade Silvera. Wouldn't let him get there.
Took a good angle. He wasn't able to get some penetration in the pass game. I mean, the pass rush. We just got into his pursuit and took a nice angle out to the edge. He's stuck right there. Now just keep on going. Don't quit. He took an angle. That's a good angle to take too. Knocked him out of bounds. Good effort.
7th round pick out of Arizona State last year. He began his college career at Miami. There's a lot to like about his energy in the camp in the preseason last year too. Empty set, Dobbs on the rollout. He's got men in his face, and he's sacked. It's Amari Gainer. And the Raiders have their 4th sack of the night.
What penetration, a little quarterback sweep, unusual to see that, but you just watch the linebacker get up the field. This is well done, Matt.
Yeah, he just beats the second tight end. Beats him, gets 2 steps on him, and then forts it back inside. Sets up this 4th, or 3rd rather, I should say.
11th play of the drive. We talked about some of the defensive players to watch heading into the night.
They haven't gotten a consistent pass rush on this guy. They need to get pressure on him.
To the end zone, and it's caught.
Great throw.
Dobbs thread the needle to Jacob Cowing, the rookie out of Arizona, with a 10-yard touchdown grab.
That in-breaking route. It's not a deep route. You got to jump these routes pretty quick. It looks like they're man up top, and they're man all the way around. And they even had somebody in the middle.
Little post route right in the back of the end zone between the corner and the safety.
Good throw.
Now, guys, Jacob Cowing found the end zone a lot last year. He set an Arizona record with 13 receiving touchdowns. Jake Moody adds the extra point. And so the Niners march 11 plays, 55 yards with Josh Dobbs at the helm, who did not miss a pass on the drive. We've seen a lot of offense tonight. It's been fun. Carter Bradley coming back next.
Las Vegas Raiders football is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, you talk about putting on a show here in Las Vegas all the time. It's something Antonio Pierce has preached, particularly with this team. The offense has done that tonight for the Raiders, putting on a show, special teams too. And all that in front of all the alumni in the house, including the 2 next to me, Rich Gannon and Matt Millen, who enjoyed last night. Rich, you got to, I mean, you see all these guys, you played with all these guys, and you're part of this group.
You know, it's so cool, and it's such a great thing that the Raiders do to bring back and to recognize the great players. The only thing I missed about last night Was Matt Millen in his bowling shoes with his 10-pound ball with his initials on it throwing strikes? That's the only thing I didn't see last night that I was really looking forward to.
You know, even if I was there, you wouldn't have seen that.
And you know, Matt's one of those guys. He comes in, he's got his own bag with his initials on it. He's got his personalized bowling ball. He's got his name on the side of his bowling shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Did you not know that Matt was one of the stars of Kingpin?
Matt's knocked some people down. I don't know how many pins he's knocked down in his life, but he's knocked down a lot of ball players, that's for sure.
Can we talk about why you say he only has a 10-pound ball? Third series for Carter Bradley.
Oh, really good action.
Yep. Yeah, he's got his tight end out into the flat. John Samuel Shanker across midfield on a pick of 20 yards.
They got that defensive end to bite really hard on that one.
You know, I have no idea how this is all going to shake out. But when I watch Carter Bradley, there's no question in my mind this kid can play. This is great action. He throws the ball well from the pocket. He throws the ball really well in the move, whether it's to his right or to his left. And he's got really good arm talent. He can push the ball down the field.
Toss play to McCormick. Dalton Wagner trying to get out there, and a flag from the secondary. We'll wait to see what that's all about. I think it's going to go against the Raiders.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. Pete, first down.
Well, that's the rookie receiver, Ramel Keaton. Speedster out of Tennessee.
There it is, right at the top of your screen. In good position, but then you just can't take him to the ground. When you're at the point of attack, when the ball's coming in your direction, you got to be disciplined with your hands and with your technique.
All you have to do is just body block him. You don't have to really knock anybody down.
Bradley, ooh. Keaton stopped on a heat-seeking missile that was thrown. So it'll be second down and 20.
Made a business decision. I think he saw some traffic in there. He said, you know what? I'm just going to shut it down right here.
So Bradley's 4 of 7 for 79 yards. And he had that 35-yard touchdown pass on a great grab by Tyreek McAllister. Well, the offense kind of got off to a slow start tonight, but they've certainly picked things up. Nice protection into coverage. And it looked like they might have gotten early, but no flags against Terrell Bynum, the intended receiver.
This season under the spotlight.
The quarterback
game against Halliday, and then
a
little too far off the plate.
You get up to the top of that route, you've got to keep working
first for
back
Robinson
towards the
Cano, who's
quarterback.
0-for-3 in the game.
As opposed to working away from the quarterback.
Two hits.
They just show the replay here inside the stadium too, and looked like Womack did have his arm around him early.
Maybe smart in this situation. Third and long, if it's not there, check it down or hand it off.
They do a draw to McCormick. Oh, he was close to breaking it. He got towards midfield. So he picked up 10 of the 20. And the Raiders do not have to snap it again before the end of the third quarter. We'll see if they elect to do that.
Well, that's a good rep there. You get it back to midfield. You punt the ball, you pin it back, and play the battle of field position.
Now the Raiders are not going to send out A.J. Cole just yet, so it looks like we'll get a punt to start the fourth quarter. That's some fireworks here in this building here in the final preseason game, both ways. As we hit the end of the third, Tom Telesco, the man with Antonio Pierce in charge of putting this roster together. He's going to join us when we come back to start the fourth. The alumni in town, good fan crowd on hand here for the final preseason game, and they've been treated to some big-time plays here, 24-21 as we start the fourth. The general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders in his first year with this new team, good enough to join us, Tom Telesco. There's been a lot of good stuff here tonight. There's been a lot of explosive plays here in this ball game.
Yeah, you know, the offense started a little slow, but we got it going a little bit there at the end, and it's a great chance for these guys to get really a full game. A lot of these kids, they haven't played a full game since college. You know, preseason's hard as you play so many players, but they're getting a full look tonight. Definitely there.
Yeah, no question about that. You know, obviously coming in here, the quarterback conversation, and you guys announced Gardner Minshew this week. What went into that decision over Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was really close. It was close throughout training camp. Both played well against Minnesota. Last week, both had some good throws, and then they both had some throws they probably would rather have back. But in the end, you know, I think experience kind of made that slight edge there with Gardner, and you know, hopefully Gardner will thrive here, just like this Rich Gannon did when he came in as a Raider later in his career. That's the hope. But yeah, it was a close competition, but we're excited about Gardner right now.
All right, Tom, this is a tough part of your job. These next 24 hours, 48 hours, you're going to grade and evaluate the film. You'll meet with the coaching staff, and you'll start having those conversations. Just walk us through what that's like, because you develop relationships with these guys. You've gotten to know these players, and you've seen them put the hard work in. I know this is one of the most difficult parts of your job.
Yeah, you know, the decisions on the roster, they kind of play themselves out throughout the preseason. That's not the difficult part. The difficult part is what you just said. We got 37 players that this organization has a relationship with. We've invested in them, they've invested in us, and done everything that we've asked. And you have to tell some of these guys that we don't have a spot for them right now. Now, many of them are going to find a job or an opportunity somewhere else, and some will be back here with us. But yeah, that's the hard part. Is, like I said, we've invested in these guys, they've invested back in us. But you know, it's professional football, and we'll make those tough decisions.
No, you have to. And so I think the biggest thing you're looking for, and I'm just curious about the consistency that you're looking for. And it's hard in the preseason because you're changing so many different people. But that's still what you'd like to see. And how much have you seen?
Well, you need that, because in the regular season we have to have that consistency.
Right.
We can't have this roller coaster up and down. Obviously, with a younger player, you're going to have that roller coaster sometimes. But as they develop and mature, you hopefully can even those out. And the guys that have been able to do that through training camp in the preseason will be the guys who will be able to stay here more than likely.
Tom Telesco with us here in the booth in his first year as Raiders general manager. You know, Tom, you start over, right? Because you were with an organization as the general manager for a decade in the division. Did the roster when you got here look like what you thought from afar?
It's so much different when you look at the roster as an opponent than when you're actually here. I knew there was some talent here, but until you actually get here and get a feel for everybody, you don't really know. It's just completely different when you're inside the building. But there's a lot of pieces here. We also know we have a little ways to go, but there's a lot of pieces here to work with. And we'll start to see those more once we get in the regular season.
I kind of like what Peterman was doing here tonight.
You know, veteran quarterback. He's been through a lot. We just signed him 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Obviously, he knew the offense pretty well from being with Luke Getsy with Chicago the last 2 years. That helped him. He's got some poise too. He's got a quick release. We started out slow on offense, but they picked it up with that last drive before the half.
Talk a little bit about this defense. You go out and make a big move to bring in Christian Wilkins, and what that could mean not only to that defensive front, but to Max Crosby and Kuntz off the edge.
Yeah, we're just trying to feed the front, feed that defensive front the best we can.
That ball's on the turf.
That's hot, too.
That is. And it looks like the Raiders have their second takeaway of the night. Now they will undo the pile there, and that's the new guy who's open to be a lot of on the other side on the field. And the Raiders do have the takeaway. It's Phelan Sanford, the former Nebraska walk-on, who comes away with the fumble recovery.
I just love to see that energy on the bench from our veterans that aren't playing tonight. They're into this just like the guys that are playing.
Tom, talk to us about the role of some of these young players in the kicking game and how important that is. You know, you look at position versatility, whether it's an offensive player or defensive player, but how they can help you guys in the kicking game could ultimately determine whether or not they make this 53-man roster.
That's how they earn a job in this league as a young player, is to have a big role on special teams. You know, whether it's, one, two, or three, whether it's punt return, kickoff return, whatever it is, you can have a role there. And then that gives you a chance to keep developing at your position. But it's just critical to have that.
So to that point, by the way, Phelan Sanford was huge in special teams at Nebraska. That was what his calling was. Matt and I had a chance to see him calling games on Big Ten Network. Tyreek McAllister, right? Punt return for a touchdown tonight, 35-yard. He is putting a lot of big plays on tape here in Game 3.
Yes, and he's a great example of that. Makes some plays on special teams, gets some more work at receiver.
And he's got another grab inside the 10 on a great throw from Carter Bradley.
I mean, really, he was a running back in the CFL, so the receiver position is new for him. But he's kept developing through training camp, through the preseason games, so I'm proud of him.
I like what I'm seeing from Carter Bradley, too.
Yeah.
Tom, you could tell, grew up in a football family. His dad was a coach, and he's the guy that's done some good things when he's had the opportunity.
Yeah, he was raised right. If you guys know Gus Bradley, which I think most of you do, football family, great family. And then as a quarterback, he's tough, he's athletic, he's got a quick release. He's done a really nice job tonight.
See if he can punch this one in here. First and goal, the toss to Sincere McCormick. And he was met a lot by the Niners. Now a late flag through 2.
Tom, I think sometimes people don't realize, you're looking at this roster.
Defense, number 49.
Ooh, that's a
first down.
You're looking at this roster, you're looking at these players, but there's also other teams here looking at these players in this roster, and you guys are also keeping your eyes open. I mean, this is a crazy 48 hours here for you and for the rest of the staff.
Yeah, it's a critical time. Champ Kelly, JoJo Wooden, Ben Chester, they kind of head up all of that of trying to know the whole league, who could be released, who could be available for a trade, and then how they could help us. And it's a lot of work that goes into it. And believe me, it starts way before this weekend. And we'll be hitting it hard the next couple of days and try and see what comes out that could help us and go from there.
What's the one thing that you'd like to be able to strengthen?
We just need depth. We just need depth on both sides of the ball, which I kind of knew that coming in.
Up front?
Up front would be nice. Just give away all of our tricks here, Matt. That's just great.
Love seeing Carter take control here. This is great.
They got plenty of time on the play clock. It's still at 8. Got down the high snap, and McCormick tried to hop into the hole. So it'll be second down and goal. Well, and tonight's been the chance to observe all the guys trying to make the roster on the offensive line because none of the starters played.
Yeah, they've done a nice job throughout the preseason. Haven't given up too many pressures, pass protected really well. And really, you cannot have enough offensive linemen on your active roster and your practice squad. We'll keep as many as we possibly can as we go into the year. But really, these guys done a really nice job throughout the preseason.
Peterman going to the air.
Oh, you got to make that one.
Nice ball, too. A little bit on the high side, outside, but it was actually a good route.
Got to hit him when they're open.
Yep.
Well, Tom, a lot of talk to the offseason here because of the drafting of Brock Bowers about the tight ends, right? Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, those guys are going to be here, and you assume one or two more, too, that are trying to make the roster.
Yeah, I mean, that's our offense is kind of really could run through those guys. They're playmakers, both those guys, both Bowers and Mayer, and we need those guys to step up to help our quarterbacks, so that's going to help, too.
And Harrison Bryant, someone you signed before the draft, someone from Cleveland. It's third and goal. Feels like 4-down territory, right? Preseason, loud crowd. Let's go. You want to call this one, Tom? Well, Peterman's going to have to go for it on 4th down. Check that, Bradley. Peterman's had the first half. All right, you running, you passing. What do you want to see here? Your team as well, 4th down. What do you want?
I'm not going to put our coaches in the bind and predict what they're going to do here.
That's experience.
I'm going to watch it
right
like
there.
you guys.
I'd go a little bit of play action here. Get them to bite and then dump it up on top.
And all the guys on the sideline, Devontae, Gardner, they're all up. They want this in the end zone in front of Marcus Allen.
Somebody's got to win up top. You got man-to-man coverage.
Yep.
Bradley lobs it for Ramel Keaton, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Darrell Luter Jr. in his second year out of South Alabama. Now Tom will stay with us. We'll step aside here in the 4th. Raiders unable to take the lead. Final quarter of the preseason along with Matt Millen, Rich Gannon, Jason Horowitz, and Raiders general manager Tom Telesco sticking around with us here in the booth. So we've gone through a lot of the stuff here in the offseason and what you've got. The whole rookie class is a lot of people looking for them to have an impact. I don't know that everyone thought that would be the case about DJ Glaze coming in, but he's had a great preseason, and he's our rookie spotlight brought to you by Allegiant.
Yeah, he's done a really nice job for us, really from day one. He can play left and right tackle, which is really important for a young player, but you know, he was 21 when we drafted him. I think he's 22 now, but he's very mature and poised. Like he's a steady player. Just never gets fazed by anything, which is, you know, it's hard to do for an offensive lineman, especially at his age. But he's got really good feet, takes good angles, he's strong. He's got a really great future in front of him.
He showed versatility. That's the thing you'd like to see with a young offensive lineman. He can also play down inside if he had to.
I think he could. You know, that was one of the things we liked about him as far as playing either side at tackle or possibly guard. Which, if you're not going to start, you're going to have that versatility because we're going to only dress an 8 on game day, so having that is big.
Isaac Guerrero tracked down from behind. Noah Shannon made the tackle as we hit the last 11 minutes of the preseason. The rookie class, right? You're first with this organization. You know, it's been said many times, you have said it, others as well, that nobody expected Brock Bowers to necessarily be there at 13. And obviously changed the rest of the draft for you guys a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, Matt's been through this many times as part of the draft process. You go through every possible scenario. You just don't know what everybody else is going to do. Worked out that Brock was there for us, and we expect him to be a big playmaker for us.
His versatility, I think, he could really take advantage of because he'll have a mismatch sometimes in these games.
Yeah, like people keep asking, you know, in this day and age, how do you play with 2 tight ends all the time? And like, I'm not real big on labels. Like you can line up Brock and Michael Mayer anywhere you want. You can put him in the backfield, you can put him in the slot, you can line him up wide, you can put him on the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I know they're tight ends on the roster, but we'll find up roles for all those guys.
Yeah, well, I get excited about watching the tape of Brock Bowers at Georgia. And you know, you think about what you guys face in Kansas City with Travis Kelce, the ability to line up as an inline player, the ability to line up in slot, outside the numbers, move him out of the backfield. I think it's going to be fun to see how Luke Getsy utilizes him in the offense this season.
Yes. I mean, he can work the middle of the field, and
Josh Dobbs works the middle of the field. Jaden Grant the tackle.
Yeah, you know, Brock's such a great athlete, but he's also just a natural football player, which you can see when you watch him play. So I wouldn't put him in veteran status, but watching him at camp, it just feels like he's got a really good feel for the game already as a young player, and you know, we're going to need him.
And this is a look, Tom, at the entire draft class from what I'm sure feels like a gazillion years ago. It's only 4 months ago, back at the end of April. You know, your first draft class here, and you know, a lot of these guys, as we've talked about here on the broadcast in the preseason, whether they're starters or role players, they're expected to have a role on this team early.
Yeah, they have to. The days of redshirting young players is really gone. You know, these guys, even if you're a practice squad player, you're essentially a backup at that position. So you have to be ready to play. But yeah, we need some contributions from these guys and from last year's draft class.
How exciting is it now? You're getting so close to the start of the regular season. This 53-man roster will be decided here in the next 48 hours. But to see this thing from the beginning, you know, when you got into the building, started to make these trades and make these acquisitions in free agency, the draft, to see it all come together, and then to go on the road week 1 against your former team, it's got to be exciting to see this organization kind of put their best foot forward here to start 2024
Can't wait.
season.
You know, we opened with that team out west in the first game, and you know, these 2 weeks will just take forever because you're excited for the regular season to start. It's been a long training camp, but you're trying to get everything together. And just can't wait to get going.
And last one for me, Tom. You know, you think about the evaluation process. A lot of people look at these 3 preseason games. You've got literally maybe 1,200 snaps to look at, whether it's OTAs, mini camps, practices, and training camp. I mean, that's a big part of the process as well.
We probably have had as many offensive, defensive snaps in training camp as I've ever been around. So there's been plenty of work for everybody, for development, for evaluation purposes, and you know, we'll have plenty.
And intentional, I would assume. Another run there for the Niners and another tackle by Amari again. You would think that it was intentional by you.
Yes, it was on both sides of the ball. And I loved how Antonio ran practice and training camp. It was tough. It was tough and physical, which I expected going in, which I loved. And you know, we worked a lot of 11 on 11. Yeah. You know, probably the most I've ever been around.
Sorry. I was just going to ask, I said, so you're around this team and you know it and you can see all the different pieces and you also know where the numbers are and what you have to get to right now. And so you're looking at a couple different positions. How many positions?
I'd say at least 4 or 5. You know, it's those position numbers are flexible, so it's not like, hey, it can only be 5 receivers.
That's
it could
good
be
for
6,
you.
right? You know, as far as the tight ends, it could be 3, could be 4. You know, with safeties, it could be 4 or 5. Corners, it could be 5 or 6. So you kind of have to start maneuvering around, and you know, and then trying to play some strategy too, because there are going to be some guys that we want to keep that we may want to just put on the practice squad. So you just have to try and try and figure that out too. But yeah, you have to be flexible with the numbers. We'll work on it the next couple of days and get it figured out.
By the way, you said that team out west week 1. Is that what we're officially going with? Like Ohio State calls Michigan that team up north? Are we for now doing that too?
That just came out. I don't even know how that came out. But yeah.
We can put shirts that say TTOW. Dax Millen back deep to return this punt, and then he's going to call for a fair catch. Tom, we know you got a lot of work to do in the next 48 hours. Thank you so much for all the time up here tonight.
It's great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Have a great first season.
Appreciate it, Tom.
Tom Telesco in his first season as general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. The final preseason fourth quarter coming up. No celebration like Las Vegas. No matter what your passion is, you're sure to find it here. And when you're in the sports and entertainment capital of the world, every fan can go all out. Now, Raiders fans hoping that Gardner Minshew can ball out this year, named the starting quarterback on Sunday. Rich, your thoughts on what it's going to have to take for him to be successful this year?
Yeah, I want to see him do well. Here's my goals for Gardner Minshew this season. You got to play all 17. You got to be up and available for your teammates each and every week. I want him to complete 70% of his passes. He's a career 62% completion guy. That's got to be better. Ball security. Keep the turnovers, Gardner, to a minimum. Give your team a chance to win each week. And finally, most importantly, outwork everyone in the building. And if you do that, you got a chance to really take control of this football team. But we're counting on you, brother. I'm excited to see what Gardner Minshew can do with the 2024 Raiders.
You know, I asked you when we were doing pre-show prep and you had that graphic up because a guy, as you just said, career 62%. Is 70% realistic? It's probably, you know, there's one or two guys maybe. Back in the day, it was almost impossible. The rules have changed. The game has changed. But 62% isn't going to get it. The best guys in our business are up there around 67, 68, 69%. That makes a big difference. And I think that's an area of his game where he could be better. Carter Bradley hit as he throws. And wide of the mark looking for Britton Brown. Solid pressure from the Niners again.
They don't really push the ball down the field that much. So you're talking about an intermediate to underneath game. And so that's why a 70%, especially in this offense, this 70% is doable. And that's the goal, you know, and you may not get it, but if you're up there around 68, 69%, it's a lot better than what we've seen from him in the past at 62%. And I think, you know, ball security for a smaller quarterback, that's going to be important. You're not trying to make every play a home run. Just taking what the defense gives you and being disciplined. Pressure in the face again. Evan Anderson, the rookie out of Florida Atlantic, has done that a lot tonight, especially here in the second half. So the Raiders will have to punt it away again. You think about good offensive football, it's discipline when it comes to the penalties and ball security. You have to be a smart team and win the turnover battle each week. AP has talked about that. You can't win in this league until you learn how not to lose. And that's really important. And you lose, Matt, when you turn it over. Yeah, understanding how not to lose, right? Because there's a lot of fun. Look, your best players are always your smartest players. No question. Can't win with dumb players. I learned that a long time ago. Ronnie Bell with a flag down, again with a solid return. He picks up 14. There's a flag right there at the sideline after the 57-yard punt. You look at that alumni group, Matt, and there's a lot of Hall of Famers in there, a lot of guys that you and I played with, and they're some of the hardest working, toughest, smartest guys in the room. Make very, very few mistakes. Howie, I think of Howie, Howie was such a smart player. Ted Hendricks, very, very smart. Mike Haynes, I mean, some of the games we were in, the situations, you just locked onto a guy. Sometimes we just have to break the call and tell him on the fly.
Out of bounds.
They would work with it every time. 32.
5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
We talk about the best players, the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Got to have a lot of players like that, Jason, to have a chance to win in this league. That's for sure. All those special players enjoying the special weekend. Marcus out.
Yeah, located at the 50-yard line, the 14,000 square foot Credit One Club is one of 2 field level clubs with the premium club seating space here at Allegiant Stadium. Luxurious private lounge includes VIP entry, direct access to the field, all-inclusive food and beverage service, and so much more. The club is available game days and all other major stadium events. Now the Raiders played 2 quarterbacks tonight. Nathan Peterman, Carter Bradley. The Niners are bringing on their 4th. This is Tanner Mordecai, the rookie out of Wisconsin, who hands it off a big room for Cody Schrader. Rookie out of Missouri, who was first team all SEC last year. He picks up 12 yards.
They get him to run. All they're getting to do is get the defense running one way. You see everybody's going this way. He's just going to cut it right back. All you're looking for is that one crack. And that's why on that defender on that backside, he has to control that outside shoulder, not take the break to the inside shoulder. That's where you gain the crack.
Mordecai began his career at Oklahoma, had a couple of years at SMU, and had finished last year at Wisconsin. Schrader gets the carry again. Interesting prospect. Began his career at Truman College, 1 year at Missouri. More of a small back, but he did set the Missouri record with over 1,600 rushing yards last year.
You know what's rare nowadays, and we didn't experience this, Matt, but the number of players that play at multiple colleges and universities.
Yeah.
I mean, you start doing some background work on these guys, and you know, Bo Nix, you know, 3 years at Auburn, 2 years at Oregon. I mean, you know, rare that a player, whether it's a quarterback or a skill player, starts at one college and finishes there for 4 years.
And that trend's going to continue.
Yeah, with the NIL money, and it's a different
yeah.
world right now. You know, it's. I think I'm not crazy about it. One of the things that really concerns me is if you go to a place and you don't play right away, or somebody beats you out, you say, "Well, I'm going to go somewhere else."
Right, exactly.
What about sticking in there? What about beating the guy out at some point? What about overcoming some adversity? It just seems like a lot of these players, you know, it's not unusual to see a player who's been at 3 different colleges in a period of 5 years.
I think they're going to have a salary cap in the NCAA.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Because what's going to happen, you got places like Ohio State, Michigan, and Alabama and LSU that have the resources, and you have other schools that simply don't have the money to do that. It's going to be like you know, the New York Yankees in a big market with all the payrolls and the big budgets, playing a team in a small market. It's not really fair.
All right, so this is the first time tonight that we saw this. Rich, you and I saw this last week about 3 times here. Remember, the NFL is trying out the virtual measurement system in some of the stadiums here in the preseason. It's not about where the ball was spotted per se. The virtual measurement is just to see if, in fact, with the spot, if they have a first down without bringing the chains out. So if you haven't seen this is like in tennis, right? When someone challenges the call, the chair umpire, nobody has to worry whether he called in or out. It's just, ooh.
Well, I think one of the worst challenges that coaches make is when you have a situation where 3rd and 1 or 4th and goal situation.
Well, let's take a look here. Hold on. This is what it looks like.
Yep. And it's short.
It's short.
But where you have a big scrum and the line judge comes in to try and spot the ball, and you challenge the spot. You can't tell in a scrum where the ball is.
Exactly.
And you rarely see a situation like that where it's overturned. And I think this new technology may help some of those situations.
Yeah.
All the coaches want is to get it right on the field. I think we have the technology to do a much better job.
So 4th and 1, Mordecai, tough snap. Raiders got in there.
Oh, he got pushed back.
He got pushed forward. The spot is ahead of the 30-yard line, which would give him a first down.
It looked like San Francisco jumped on that right side of the offensive line.
Initially, he got stood up.
Watch this. Yeah,
no, he jumped. Yeah,
yep. He was offsides.
Yeah, look at him get stood up there, and then looks like he's able to push forward.
They missed the call right there.
Yeah, that's the right guard in now, which is Isaac Alarcon.
He used a Decepticon right there.
Yeah.
Now, I did not have Matt Millen making a Transformers reference here on the broadcast on the bingo card.
I wonder where that came from. Oh, nice hit.
Nice job stringing that one out. Marquand McCall came down the line. Byron Young, who had a sack tonight, too. And Antonio Pierce is taking a timeout.
Timeout. Las Vegas, please put 48 on the game clock. 2:48. That's their first timeout of the half.
And again, by the way, if you're just joining us and wondering one more time, that's Bill Vinovich. That was our referee earlier tonight. He came out in the first half. We were not alerted to this, but the NFL in certain preseason games around the league is removing the referee to kind of test out situations. So Todd Prukup, the back judge, has taken over tonight, making the announcements. They're down one referee, and they're testing that out in the preseason too.
He's done a nice job,
yeah.
Todd Prukup, because you have to get comfortable on the mic, making the calls, explaining to the fans and obviously the viewers at home what's going on, and you're trying to replace a guy like Bill Vinovich, who's been at it a long time. He's one of the best in the business.
That guy looked like an antenna. Holy smokes. They got so much wire on him, it's ridiculous.
So 2 timeouts left for the Raiders. Mordecai's going to go to the air against his body, and a nice throw to Ronnie Bell. Jaquan Shepard trailing with the tackle.
That's a good throw. That's not an easy throw to make as a right-handed quarterback running to your left.
Yeah, but you got to be able to set the edge, man. This drives me crazy when I watch how flat you come.
Yep.
You've got to get up here. And look at the quarterback just come around. Look how flat they are going down the line of scrimmage.
That's a nice job. Yeah, Mordecai did a nice job getting his hips kicked the way they had to, and his shoulders turned.
They picked up 14 yards. The play clock is about a second behind the game clock. So they're going to let this thing run down to the 2-minute warning. They have a fresh set of downs. We'll see if Antonio Pierce, if the defense can get a couple of stops, maybe he'll take the timeouts, try to give Carter Bradley one more time. So we'll see what happens in the final 2 minutes of the preseason. Just about 2 weeks away from kicking this thing off for real.
Everybody loves the know-it-all. This guru of the gridiron is full of wisdom beyond his stature.
Can anyone beat the Chiefs? Do you think the Eagles are for real?
Hey, son, what's my opinion on the NFC North?
Jordan Love is definitely winning MVP this year.
Only a fool wouldn't at least consider someone like Joe Cool Burrow. Are you a fool, Mr. Harrison?
Unbelievable. And with NFL Plus Premium, you too can be a football know-it-all.
Las Vegas Raiders football has been brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Coors Light, choose chill, an official beer of Raider Nation. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Sports Water, the official water of the Las Vegas Raiders. Twitch, watch, discover, join in. And by Las Vegas. There's no better place to celebrate than the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Right here in Las Vegas.
Great pictures of the Raider image with all the wonderful jerseys you can purchase. Get your exclusive team gear at the Raider Image, the official team store of the Las Vegas Raiders. Shop online now at Raiders.com/shop for all things silver and black. Now, who knows? Maybe some of these players trying to make the roster here will wind up having great careers. Who knows? Byron Young makes the tackle. And the flag got thrown from the backfield, and it's going to be against the Niners.
Holding. Offense, number 66. Repeat, first down. Correction. In the foul. Result of the play, second down.
So they declined the penalty. Not sure if you heard that over the mic. The declining of the penalty because you're inside of 2 minutes. He does not have to burn a timeout. The clock stopped.
Yeah, an offensive penalty. It's just what the doctor ordered for Antonio Pierce as he tries to get the ball back one more time for his offense.
The ground again, the missed tackle. And what could have been a loss of 1 is a 6-yard gain for the rookie Schrader. And the Raiders do take that second timeout of the second half.
Las Vegas, second of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, remember, he got a chance to see Nathan Peterman have a 2-minute drill to end the first half. So if you're trying to figure out who's going to be your third quarterback, pair the 2-minute drill for both guys. We'll see. You got to get the ball back to do that.
Got some really tough decisions to make. We had a chance to visit with Tom Telesco a few minutes ago, and boy, I hate to be in his shoes. These are, you got to go from 90 to 53. That's 37 players. Some really tough decisions.
3rd and 4. Mordecai looked like he was going to run, and the Raiders were ready for it.
Vegas, third and final timeout of the half. Please 1-4-6 on the game clock. 1-4-6.
Well, we've seen this team again. Raiders lose to Minnesota the last 145, but again, all the build-up guys to week 1 going to Los Angeles to take on Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers.
Yeah, and I think what we need to see the most is consistency from both the offensive line and the defensive front. You can see what the Chargers have here with what they've redone to their roster. I like the Joe Alt kid. I think that's a pretty good player. He's at the Dome, so.
Play with his brother John in Kansas City, and you look at the losses. Keenan Allen, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Production there. Mike Williams struggled with the injuries, but
4th down for the Niners to the end zone, and it's over the outstretched arms of the intended tight end, Mason Pline. Nice coverage by Jaquan Shepard, so the defense does get the ball back for Carter Bradley one last time.
Well, got 1:41, no timeouts.
Yeah, that's plenty of time to get down there, kick a field goal.
It's just what Matt wants, overtime.
Yeah, I love overtime in the preseason.
Overtime in the preseason.
Yeah, one of my favorite things.
Matt's mantra as a player was anything but overtime in the preseason.
Telling me.
A great opportunity for the young quarterback, Carter Bradley. Let's see what he can do here in a 2-minute situation. Always good to start with the completion. Oops.
Incomplete. Terrell Bynum, the intended receiver, but Samuel Womack had a couple of those tonight. Knocks it away.
Good break by Womack.
One of the challenges for a young quarterback is you're out here with a lot of young players, young tight ends, young receivers, and it's not always done exactly the way it's been drawn up, whether it's not getting the proper depth, not having the proper technique. And that can really affect the timing and the rhythm and the anticipation for the young quarterback.
Bradley's first drive of the half, he was 3 for 3 for 61 yards. He's 2 for his last 11. Lets it fly. Ramel Keaton brings it down. Now he stayed in bounds, so the clock will continue to run, but they pick up 22 yards. Good protection to the sideline.
Stay out of bounds. Stay out of bounds.
And he does hop out of bounds. Right in front of Luter. And they pick up another first down.
Nice job going back to him, this time with a back shoulder throw. Really well done here on the boundary. Watch the receiver get up on him. He's making it look like he's going to run the go route, and then he's going to put his foot in the ground, just stop. Well done by the quarterback and receiver.
Bradley over the middle. Great crowd. Cole Fotheringham in tight coverage. Brought it in. They pick up 15 more. And just like that, inside of a minute, they're down to the Niners 40.
This is when the pass rushers get really tired. You can take your time back there.
Niners bring a blitz. Near side, back shoulder. What a catch! Ramel Keaton, were his feet in bounds. Yes, they were.
Again, that back shoulder throw has been very effective on that right corner of the 49ers. Watch this throw. Wow, I think he keeps both feet in bounds as he squeezes it.
Previous play is under review.
The Raiders didn't, even though the clock was stopped, they did not want to let the Niners, but what about his knee?
He's out.
Yeah.
Knee is out. And there was only 1 foot down. but a nice throw.
Yeah, Bradley's chucking it pretty good here.
So we believe this will come back to the 40, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. But like, to your point, though, Matt, like if the conversation has been in the preseason, Antonio Pierce has said he wants to see situational football and how his guys handle that response. Yeah, the left foot is up in the air. I mean, you've had that tonight in spades. 2-minute drill at the end of the second quarter, drive to start the third quarter, and 2-minute drill to try and win the game in the fourth.
If they tie it, Rich will be
no,
angry.
I got nowhere to go, Matt. I'm good, brother. I want to see some more football. Some more reps for these young guys.
After review, incomplete pass.
Now there's Daniel Carlson. He is hit from 56 here in the preseason.
2nd down.
He was 3 of 3 against the Vikings in the opening preseason game.
51 seconds on the game clock, please. 51 seconds.
Get a 1st down here, and you'll at least tie it.
I think with 51 seconds, you got a chance to take a couple shots.
Oh yeah.
They don't want overtime. They want to end it right here.
Chance to make some memories.
Oh yeah.
For the rookie Bradley. He lets it rip.
Oh, great
catch! Wow. Keaton at the 20-yard line. He has been great on this drive.
Nice job handing the ball to the umpire so they can get it spotted quickly. That was really well done.
We got to see this catch again. He stuck his right paw out in the air.
One-hander, yeah.
Watch Keaton make this grab. Nice job at the top of the route, putting his foot in the ground, and then extending, holding onto the football. Now watch the... Wow, that's a really good catch. Jeez. Yeah. He does a good job finding the umpire. Rather than just put the ball on the ground, he hands the ball to the official so he can get it spotted quickly.
Keaton's got 4 grabs for 76 yards, most of those on this drive. McAllister's been good tonight. Keaton having an impact now. Bradley trying to escape. He cannot. He's taken down in the backfield.
Plenty of time.
But if they spike it, it's going to be 4th down, and they do. So they do stop the clock with 20 seconds. It sets up 4th down. Do you kick the 42-yard field goal to try and tie it? And the answer is yes.
See, if he would have avoided the sack there and thrown it away, they would have had the opportunity to take another shot. Instead, you got to settle for the field goal.
Now, I've been waiting to tell you this, but I'm going to wait till the field goal is attempted first, Matt. So a 43-yard attempt for Carlson to try and tie this. And a nice drive put together by Carter Bradley.
Well, there's no overtime in preseason.
And he drills it, and that is what I was been waiting to tell you, Matt. I didn't want to put the jinx on it, because if I said it, there is no chance they would score. There is no overtime in preseason.
They changed that a couple of years ago. Matt and I were having some fun because Matt's got a red eye. I want to make sure Matt gets that red eye.
So Carlson boots it through, stays perfect in the preseason. And I think that's what Antonio Pierce was just saying on the sideline. There's like, there's no overtime in preseason.
Yeah. No, we saw some players really take advantage of some opportunities tonight. It's good to see. Obviously, Keaton making a couple big grabs down there. And of course, you look at McAllister, who had the big punt return, and of course, the touchdown reception. Matthew Butler did some good things defensively. Murray Gaynor made a lot of plays.
Yeah, Gaynor had another double-digit tackle, or he had a double-digit tackle night. 12 of them, 2 tackles for a loss. Chris Smith had an interception tonight. Raiders had 4 sacks tonight. Byron Young had one of those. Matthew Butler had one. Charles Snowden 2. So 16 seconds to go. The Niners do have 3 timeouts left. See if Carlson just boosts this through the end zone. He tries to, and Schrader does go to a knee. So again, with the new kickoff rules, remember, if you kick it into the end zone first, the ball comes out to the 30-yard line on the touchback. So that is where the Niners will have it with 16 seconds and all 3 of their timeouts for Tanner Mordecai to try and make a memory here in the preseason.
I think they just run it and get out of here. That's my sense.
You don't think they're thinking a couple of throws? And
no, I don't think so.
60-yard Jake Moody field goal attempt?
I think Kyle Shanahan wants to get the boys on the bus to the plane and back to the Bay Area. But I could be wrong. Now he's going to hand it off. Watch this. We'll draw. Maybe not.
Now Mordecai's going to throw. Or at least try to. Across his body. He's got Trent Taylor, and he dropped it. And a flag in the secondary.
Going to go against the Raiders.
A late flag with 7 seconds to go.
Boy, Taylor took a big hit, too. Ooh.
Personal foul, defense, number 53. Automatic first down.
Now that is on Amari Gaynor. Yeah, it's the hit to the head.
Damn. That's not good.
Yeah, it's the hit to the head. Well, remember last week in this building, Brandon Aubrey hit a 66-yarder for the Cowboys. Jake Moody's career long is 49. The Niners do have a timeout if they want to get a few yards. It's batted up in the air. Oh, and it's almost picked off by Ellerson Smith. Janaris Robinson got to the quarterback and made the play happen.
With 1 second remaining.
Please set the game clock.
Well, he got around the corner quick.
3 seconds.
Top, boom. There he comes.
Ooh, he affected that ball too, to his arm.
Now they could look at that. Any chance that that was a fumble because Ellerson Smith was on top of it, but we'll see. Not at the moment here in the preseason with 3 seconds left. Hail Mary time for San Francisco. Final play of the preseason. Mordecai trying to get it to the end zone. They're all back there. It's batted around. Oh, it's caught. Trent Taylor. He tries to lateral and it's still loose. Ronnie Bell has the football. Oh, it's fumble-rooski time at Allegiant Stadium. Well, you don't expect to see this at the end of a preseason game. That's forward.
There it is.
Cody Schrader still loose. Niners offensive lineman is tackled at the 3. So it wouldn't have mattered anyway. The flag is down. Sebastian Gutierrez is tackled at the 3 in a game that had all kinds of excitement.
Illegal pass
like that.
Offense, number 4. The game is over.
And oh man, the end of the preseason's fun.
That's a good way to end it. Tie score, going into the end zone, a little fumble-rooski going around. They almost made it work.
Max Crosby will join us here in a moment. Get his take on what he is seeing this preseason and as they get set to take on the Chargers in a little bit more than 2 weeks.
Now comes the hard part for 37 players.
Yep.
You know, we're trying to figure out, am I going to make it? Am I able to call my parents and tell them I'm a Raider? It's
from the Raiders coaching and general manager point of view, you have it down to about probably have it down to about 30 players that you know that are going to be gone. There's going to just be room for about 3 or 4 of them that are tough decisions.
Well, a couple of those guys certainly made an impact tonight, and we talked about it. Some of those undrafted free agents. Mari Gaynor, Giannis Greer at Florida State, had a good year last year at North Carolina, and he's had a really good preseason. Linebacker, and a bunch of the linebackers weren't playing tonight. Luke Masterson, Tommy Eichenberg, neither of the starters, Divine Diablo or Robert Spillane, so he was on the field pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, so and then it's good experience, number one. Number two, you know exactly where he's going to be, and it's good film to get sent out for other teams to see as well.
You could really see the sense of urgency, Jason, from a number of players that really knew what was at stake tonight. It's great to see some young players step up. I always tell that story about Tyrone Wheatley, the fact that he took advantage of his opportunity in that last game and really made the most of it. And I think we saw a couple players here do that tonight.
Of course, Tyrone Wheatley was a former first-round draft pick. The guys we're talking about a little bit different of a story. And the guy who's now putting on the headset, our post-game interview brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, the official soft drink of the Las Vegas Raiders, is Max Crosby, who, you know, Max, you know, when you started in this league preseason, it certainly was your chance to make a mark on this team. It's changed over the course of years because of how, you know, your stature has changed. But these guys tonight, they were going at it hardcore, and we saw a lot of big plays.
Oh, for sure. You know, it's a blessing getting to watch the young guys get after it, and everyone's fighting for a job at the end of the day. You know, this is a business. Everyone put their heart on the line. You know, it literally went down to the last play. So, you know, it's fight up for those guys. The D-line, you know, we got home a few times, and, you know, you see young dudes stepping up. Amari Gaynor, dudes flying everywhere. Making plays, so it was a hell of a time, you know, being able to, you know, watch the guys do their thing.
Max, it's been a long off season. There's been plenty of additions on your side of the ball. How excited are you to get things started here in 2 weeks?
Oh, cannot wait. You know, we've been training all year round to get to this point. I cannot wait. No words necessary. Just ready to go and put on a show.
So you got it, and you're heading into the season again with, I know, the same old goals. You want to make that. First of all, you want to win. That's the number one thing. And the second thing you want to be able is to get out in another Pro Bowl kind of season and year, rather. And so shape enough, all good? You're in good shape?
Phenomenal. Like I said, you know, we started January 22nd. Me and my guy Rick Slay, we've been working all year round to get to this point. I've never felt better. Just cannot wait to go out and, you know, put it on display. It's about that time.
Max, what do you think will make success for the Raiders in 2024?
Win. Period. Just win.
Yeah.
You forgot baby.
I meant what will determine whether this team is able to do that in 2024?
You know, for us, it doesn't matter what it looks like. At the end of the day, like I said, it's just about winning, and we got to find ways to do that. You know, a lot of people have their doubts. Some people have, you know, are hyping us up. Whatever it is, all that's irrelevant at the end of the day. Now it's time to go out there and ball and go win. So we're fired up. We love the guys we got. We love the people leading us, and we can't wait to go out there and put it on display.
Max, we'll see you in Los Angeles in 2 weeks against the Chargers. Thanks, bud.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Max Crosby. And who those guys are that will be on this team, we will know for sure in just a little bit of time. The final preseason is said and done. Rich, your final thoughts here after the 3 games here with the Raiders in the preseason?
I think they got accomplished what they wanted to, Jason. I think they've got what they think is the makings of a really competitive team. Every team has question marks coming out of the preseason, but look, they've got a lot of leadership, they've got a lot of toughness, and if you got 25 or 30 players like Max Crosby, you'd never lose a game.
Oh, absolutely. And what I'm ready and willing to see is some more consistency out of the offensive and defensive fronts.
And all that will be with Gardner Minshew leading the helm. 2 weeks from the season opener. 4 weeks from the home opener against the Panthers. It has been a blast. We'll talk to you in Los Angeles in 2 weeks. For Rich Gannon and Matt Millen, I'm Jason HOROWITZ. Take care, folks.